Welcome to GoodFlickas, home of the GoodFlickas. Can you take our critiques? Let us find out. Sorry for the delay, folks. That is based on me, but I'm not going to go into it because you don't deserve it. But I do apologize for the delay. Hopefully you guys will enjoy the show, and we're going to have a wonderful talk as we get into Leon the Professional.
Matt just couldn't figure out which milk he wanted to pick.
I really couldn't. It was his struggle. You know, I knew I didn't want skim. I knew I didn't want skim because that's not milk. But it's that age-old, dilemma. 2% or whole. 2% or whole. And then I saw the organics. God, I got lost in the milks. The dairy section is a dangerous place. And then I wandered over the ice cream. It's just a bad place, guys. Don't do it.
It's
a trap. It's a trap. Yes, we will be talking about Leon the Professional. I am, of course, Matt, and I am joined tonight with Brian, aka the Bronx. I don't know why, but you feel like you're like if that was your assassin name, like you feel like Benny from the Bronx kind of deal. You know what I mean? Like
I did. I'm with that one.
Bronx.
Someone serious is coming.
Okay. Someone serious is coming. I can't wait. You're already jumping to the beginning of this. That's going to be so much fun. But tonight we also have with us Jen, aka Jenny the Tulip.
The Tulip.
Okay. It's a little bit of a. Is anybody familiar with the whole 9 yards or the whole 10 yards with Bruce Willis and Matthew Perry?
I've heard of it.
Oh man, that's another fun one that we should watch then. But anyway, Bruce Willis's character is an assassin, and his name is the Tulip. So it's kind of a reference to that. Also, I thought, it was a little bit pretty and kind of like deceptive of give you a cute name, but know that you can fuck somebody up.
I don't like flowers.
Fair enough. Lived and learned. No more flower nicknames for Jen.
The Tulip.
I take it back. Jenny the Terrible.
So
but she does not have a bowl tonight. We talked about this during our chat.
It's more like Jen the Jackknife.
You know what? There we go. I like it better. Jen the Jackknife. Actually, she's just Jackknife. Just Jackknife. No reference to like female, male, just Jackknife. That's the mystery of it. Nobody knows who they're getting killed by.
Or Jen Knife.
That's again.
Giving it away. They'll find me.
Yeah. We gotta keep it a mystery. So when people, try to tell her story, they're like, yeah, it's like this 6'10" dude, or like this 5'3" girl, and just everything in between. Nobody knows. Nobody knows what Jackknife is. Who Jackknife is. Who is Jackknife?
Comment down below.
Comment down below. And last but not least, we are joined by Nick, aka Carrot Top, aka the Bearded Badass,
aka the Bearded Badass.
I wanted to set you up for the aka.
No.
What?
Carrot Top? Really? That's.
I wanted to go with something weak, but reference to your red hair.
Okay. I don't know much about Carrot Top other than the fact that he has red hair. So.
Well, I do believe that by having the nickname Carrot Top, it's implied that you either murder people with props or you're just very good at improvised weapons. So I'll let you have that. You choose how badass you are. I gave you a silly nickname. I'm not going to take away your badassery.
No. Right.
Could have called you Mr. Pink.
I'll sit with it.
All right.
All right.
Matthew McConaughey is not in this chat. All right. So tonight's pick is Leon the shit. Wow, that was a stumble of words. And for
Leon the Professional.
I couldn't say nothing.
I watched the wrong movie.
Not watch that movie.
Yeah, it's on. It was on Cinemax. Did you see it? All right. So today's pick was Leon the Professional by me. And I picked this movie because it's one of those kind of cult movies that if you know about it, you know about it. If you don't, you don't. But it's one that I've heard about and seen constantly, but I've never actually watched. So I knew nothing about this movie. I knew little tidbits, little things. But mostly this was just one that I was really curious about, that I've heard a lot of really good things. People really hype this movie up. But it's not talked about too much in normal conversation. In most conversations, it's not really one of those go-tos. But the other reason that I picked it is this is, I want to say, and I didn't confirm this, it's either Natalie Portman's first like big acting role or it's one of her first. But the girl's like 12 years old and it's freaking insane. And she's in this movie where she's smoking, she's cussing up a storm like she's a freaking sailor. And she did shoot a guy, but we'll get into that later. But this movie it has a lot of history around it. It's been around for, God, when did this come out? Oh, wow, I didn't realize it was so early in the 90s, but it's been around for a long time. And I really wanted to see it. So this was a movie that was kind of on my bucket list of movies to see, but also one that I hope you guys would enjoy. I thought it would be interesting. And with all of the hype and the positivity around it, I figured it couldn't suck too much. But we'll see what you guys think. Any volunteers for who'd like to go first?
I'll go.
Yes. I love when it's not Brian because he can't complain.
Yeah, well, it can only go up.
It's so stupid.
It can only go up from here. So let me just get mine out of the way, okay?
Fair enough.
I've never seen nor heard of this movie. With all movies, I just go in blindly. I don't watch trailers or anything. This movie, it was hard. So it was hard. I'll be honest, it was hard for me to watch. And I wonder if I was like with somebody, I could handle it a little better, but I don't like not knowing what the heck's going on. It gives me so much anxiety. It makes it hard for me to focus on the actual storyline. So maybe that's why I'm tanking this one. But also, I like what I did connect with. There was no, I don't want to connect with that. It was just a weird movie, not my style at all. I am looking forward for the chat though. It'll be fun. And okay, I don't know. Let's do it. We're going to give it a -1. I have to go negative on this one. But because a lot of it is just misunderstanding probably from my part and just like a lack of disconnection entirely, -1.
I'll take -1 over -5 any day. That's cool.
I thought about it.
It's not that bad, is it?
No, I mean it's pretty close to like Risky Business though. Like we just did not enjoy it at all. And we'll be glad to just
move on. Brian looks like he had something he wanted to say.
Sure. Yeah. We'll give Nick some eating time.
Yeah.
Also, is anyone else thinking that Nick might have stole his Nana's pillow?
Having lived with Nick for a year, no.
Okay, that's his pillow.
I could totally see him having that pillow.
Okay.
Is it possible?
This pillow has been here for like the last month and a half.
It's been there the whole time.
Yeah, it hasn't moved. Go watch all the previous pods.
Yeah, I'll have to
pillow.
Be on the hunt out for that pillow.
Don't make this pillow a character, Brian.
Don't tell me with a good time. Pillow just went on an adventure. You don't even know it. All right. So Leon the Professional. This one was a new one for me. And I just kept saying why. The movie had potential. It had the skeletal structure to be a really good movie. And the choices that they made it a very disturbing movie. I don't know why we had to hone in so much on the sexual tension of a 12-year-old girl and an adult male. It was not needed. You already did, you pushed or you surpassed something by making me very interested in a serial killer, or not a serial killer, what am I trying to think of? A hitman,
assassin,
an assassin, and actually, liking him, right? I didn't know who he was taking down or what the reason was, but I could tell that he obviously had rules. He was professional. He was there to do his job, and he was really, really good at it. I would have loved to see just more scenes with him doing his thing, because those are super entertaining. But the way that they broke down this movie, I mean, I'm going to just say it out straight bluntly. This was like foreplay for a pedophile. And it was just really the envelope was pushed way too far on this one. And I've even, doing some of the research, I found out that there were some deleted scenes where I'm like, well, thank God those aren't in there, because that's even crossing the line even more. But I don't know. It just, if it wasn't for that, I think I would have enjoyed this movie a lot more. I have a lot to talk about the police force. Probably one of the worst police force I've seen in any movie. So really looking forward to unpacking that one. A lot of it just, some of the movie really didn't make sense. Like I said, the skeletal, the foundation was there. The execution was just, they fell on their face with a lot of choices that they made. I'm happy to break it down tonight and go over my notes and as to back up my score. But I wanted to give it more than this, but I couldn't. So I ended up with a 3.3.
I think that's high.
I mean, Portman's performance alone is more than 2.5 stars worthy. She outacted everybody in this movie.
We'll get into that. Actually, and just because you brought it up, the deleted scenes, I want to know more about that. So when you get into fun facts, if you weren't already talking about them, I'd like to know.
Absolutely.
Nick, what have you got for us? Cool. Yeah, much like you guys, I never heard or seen this film before. And I don't really know Natalie Portman's like filmography too much. So I was kind of surprised when he said that this was like her first film. Because she, like, her acting is phenomenal in this movie. It's what kept me like watching it. It's just like her performance is excellent. So I was like, man, like this is her first like real role. That's crazy. I thought it was entertaining. Yeah, they definitely tiptoe, boundaries and push the limits on some of the concepts in this story. But it never crosses the line. Like, you see the line, it's right in front of you, but they never really cross it. And I think that keeps it not creepy. Modest. Well, it's creepy, but it's not like, oh, I can't watch this anymore, I gotta turn it off. But it's entertaining. The performances are really good. It's an interesting story. It's very unique. It's very like Hollywood written kind of a story, something that doesn't really happen in day-to-day life, or that would be relatable to audience members. But it's entertaining. I enjoyed it. I gave it a 3.9. I didn't know what to expect with this movie. I do think that we could have seen some different things just overall, but it was entertaining. Yeah, it's a 3.9.
Sweet. I'm going to start you off with this, Nick. I hate you. You'll understand why at the end. But yeah, I don't disagree with really anything that you guys are saying. As I watched this movie, I got the vibe, like, even for me, I was like, this is not for everybody. And Brian, I think you brought it up where it's like there's a lot of moments of like, why is that happening? Why make that choice? Why do that? So I'm with you on that where I think that the script feels more like it was designed to be kind of like an independent, almost, I would even argue, like a French style film where there's not a lot of dialogue. There's a lot of things happening and you're meant to draw interpretations from things. And I think with Jean Reno as the lead, as Leon, he does an incredible job of reacting, especially since Portman does a lot of the speaking, a lot of the dialogue. And I find a lot of interest in what he is doing and how he is reacting to what she does. And what this movie does really well is it makes you want answers, and it makes you want to know everything about what is happening, but it doesn't give you those answers. And that's the frustrating part, where I think we make this complaint a lot with movies where they do a whole lot of showing and not telling. And in some movies that works, and in some it doesn't. And this is one where I think it kind of toes that line where it goes back and forth, and it's going to teeter, either you're with it or you're against it kind of thing. And that's just kind of where this movie lies for me. Is it falls short of being like really good, but it's got so many good things within it. I wanted to score this a lot higher. I wanted this movie being hyped in for not knowing much about it. Like, I really wanted to like this. I didn't know what to expect. Didn't watch much of a trailer or anything. Didn't know. And I wanted more. And after that opening scene and everything, I was feeling pretty positive, pretty excited about some stuff, but it just didn't really become the movie I wanted it to. So ultimately I was let down, but I think they did a lot of really good things. The actors were phenomenal. I mean, they did some really good things in this movie, but it's not a blockbuster movie. It's not one that's going to break the bank and people are going to rush out the door to go see. So Nick, the reason I hate you, I gave this movie a 3.89. That freaking close.
Nick strikes again.
Yeah. That's why I hate when you go before me. At least like when you go after and you pick the same score, it's just like copycat. Like you cheated off me again. Like whatever.
Yeah, no, yeah.
But when you go before me, it's like, damn it. I feel
I spun your camera like 180 degrees to look at your
You got the satellite images coming down.
Yeah, I spun it.
Use that bullshit. Nice callback to Enemy of the State. That was good.
Yeah.
So yeah, 3.89. I'm not too surprised by these scores. Jen, I didn't know what to expect from you, but I did kind of expect you not to like it. I kind of expected more of you to not like it. I didn't know how.
Sorry,
go ahead, Jen.
Oh, I did too. I thought it was gonna be a flop.
I expected it to. I was hoping that maybe the gunfights and all that stuff would at least be enough to keep Brian and Nick like interested, but those were kind of like few and far between. Like there weren't a whole lot. There wasn't a whole lot of action. Yeah, we'll see what the average score is. So it's gonna be a fun chat, guys. I'm actually really looking forward to this. But Nick, it is your moment in the sun. You have a new back for us?
Yes, sir, I do.
Sweet diggity dog. Take your time.
Well, first, I just want to address this to Brian. You better listen, Brian. Oh, Brian, you want to tell me how to rap fun facts? Well, I'll tell you a little about that. First, you got to stay tempo. You don't want to let your flow limbo. You got to be open like a window so your flow goes like Mario Kart and Nintendo. And that your rhyming has the right timing. Count syllables, don't be nimble. So you know you want to be like me, rapping as fast as lightning. But what your rapping is unforgivable. We've got a film called Leon the Professional. Brian's got fun facts. Hope it's not minimal. Matt Max over here looking real cool. Jem's here eating out of her plate. Brian's the bastard. You can go and start fun facts about Leon the Professional.
Nice. Cheers, big cheers for that one. I personally, I'm if Nick, if we're missing you next week, I really want this rap battle to continue. So,
there's no way I can top that, dude. That just played me.
That was good. That was freaking. Was it Hamilton or I don't know what? Is it Deontay Diggs? Is that the guy who does how was it? I can only remember him as Lafayette. Like that dude's just like speed rapping. That was you were on white level, you know, like you're just on that speed, but you were right there, man.
I was thinking like Busta Rhymes or something.
Oh,
yeah, like that's kind of what I was thinking, but yeah. Or like Slim Shady, like Eminem or something.
I got some Slim Shady vibes toward the end there when you start like your little like bump.
Yeah.
Nick definitely has a lot more tone than I do. I can have creative lyrics, but without a beat or a flow to them, what do you have?
You got to go old school. You got to go back to high school, grab yourself a couple of pencils and a desk and just do your thing, man. You got to
Mom, I need you to start making spaghetti.
Oh my god. So good.
So great.
Yeah.
All right. Well done, Nick.
Thank you. I'm gonna post it in the group chat now, so you guys can relive it.
Just do the words.
Okay, so Leon the Professional. This came out in 1994. Believe it or not,
I was one.
The director is Luke Besson or Basin.
I think it's Besson. I don't know.
Besson,
like lesson. Besson.
His one movie that jumped out to me that I've seen that I don't know if you guys have all seen is called The Family. It's got Robert De Niro and is it I forgot who the actor damn it. I'll have to look it up real quick. De Niro and Michelle Pfeiffer. That's who it was.
Oh,
yeah. So it's got Robert De Niro, Michelle Pfeiffer. He's basically protecting his family. It's been a while since I've seen that movie, but that one's pretty entertaining. His top four that apparently he's known for is Leon the Professional, number 1, Lucy, number 2, The Fifth Element, number 3, and what is that? Oh, Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets, number 4.
Oh,
sounds so nerdy.
Okay, I've got a couple. You didn't shout out Nikita. I haven't seen it, but that's like another kind of like assassin thing that's like
right, and I think that movie is what inspired this movie.
It could have been. I want to say that they actually turned Nikita into a television show.
I just went over like his top 4 ranked ones, but Nikita looks to be number 7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
he's done a lot.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, the only one that I've actually seen of his is The Family.
The Fifth Element is the one I'm the most familiar with, and it is real good.
Yeah. So that is that. In Leon.
Shit. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, it was a visual reference. There's a moment in The Fifth Element that is directly taken from Leon the Professional.
Oh.
Like I'm seeing the parallels now, and it's like, oh shit, that's really good. Like he's definitely gotten better through his time, that's for sure.
So the cast of Leon the Professional, your top 4 is going to be Jean Reno, Natalie Portman, Gary Oldman, and Danny Aiello. Nick, this is for you since you didn't know much about Portman. So looking at her performance, she does a lot of comic book stuff, actually. She's in Avengers Endgame. She was in Thor Love and Thunder. She was in Thor. A lot of Star Wars stuff, episode 1, 2, and 3. She was also in Heat, which I am like racking my brain to try to think of who she was in Heat, and it's just not coming to me right now.
I thought she was the one of the kids, wasn't she?
I don't know. I mean, Heat was 95. This is 94, so she's definitely young. Maybe that's why I'm not really. She probably has like a backseat role.
Probably. I think she was just one of the kids.
She's in V for Vendetta, if you ever saw that one.
I think this movie prepped her for that.
Yeah, that's a good theory.
She plays Padme in Star Wars. I didn't know that was her.
Yeah.
Oh my god! How am I just now
Queen
learning
Amidala.
That? Yeah, so in Star Wars, she's episode 1, 2, and 3.
Wow.
She did a movie called Black Swan.
Yeah.
And then Zoolander. I think a lot of people tend to forget that she's also in Zoolander as well.
She plays herself, though. That's like a small role.
Right.
She was in Garden State, which is a good movie. I believe written and directed by Zach Braff.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's just hopefully that kind of helps you. Because when you had said that you haven't seen a lot of Natalie Portman movies, and I was like, aren't you a huge Star Wars fan? It really and the comic book, it really threw me off. I was like,
that's why I had to look it up. I was like, who the fuck is she in Star Wars? I was like, oh my god, she's Padme.
Yeah. So that was just a little recap of Natalie Portman's work. And then I said the other guy, the other two. Do you guys want to know any works of Danny Aiello or Gary Oldman?
I don't really care.
Good?
No, but Gary Oldman is in The Fifth Element. So he comes back as like another villain for Luke Besson.
The only thing I will say is, to me, it was a little strange to see Danny Aiello taking such a backseat role in this one. When you look at some of the other movies that he's done in the past, and you're just like, wow, you really just took the cameo pay, I think, more than anything. I mean, but that's just my opinion.
Well, can we talk about Danny Aiello? It's a name I recognize, but not a face.
Sure.
So you're talking.
He's Tony.
Yeah.
Right.
Good guy, Tony.
But I mean, yeah, prior to this, he was in Godfather 2. He was in Do the Right Thing. He was in Harlem Nights. I mean, he had done some obviously prior movies where he plays much bigger roles, and just to see him just kind of take this really just simple role, it kind of threw me off a little bit.
I wonder if he was there to kind of add like the legitimacy of the mob, like.
I mean, yeah.
There's not much like mafia mob anything in this. Like the bad guys are the freaking cops.
Yeah.
Well, actually, let's just say there are no good guys. So I think that's probably what he was brought in for, was like, this guy is a face. He can be connected to this mafia. He can be our connection, and that's all it needs to be. He's got the resume to just like people will see it and lock in.
And they're probably like De Niro, Pesci. They're way too big. We can't just have them come in for a few scenes and that'll be that. And obviously, when you think of, especially in the 90s, when you think of mob, those are the names that start coming your way. It's Pacino, De Niro, Pesci, Paulie. I forgot who his actual name is, but Uncle Paulie
from Rocky, or from Godfather.
No, from oh my god, from Goodfellas, and also The Rocketeer.
Oh
yeah. Anyway,
sorry, we do a lot of like mafia style movies now, and starting to bleed together. And I'm like, wait, who? Yeah, that guy. But I can't remember names for shit because they're always just playing freaking mafioso guys. And it's like,
I know.
Stop it.
Unless they're like A-listers, I'm like, oh man, I just know you from like the 7 mob movies I've seen you in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And find him real
So the ratings.
Paul Sorvino.
Yes, that's his name. Thank you. Paul Sorvino.
Sorvino.
Oh, Sorvino. Okay.
Sorry.
Vino, like Italian.
That's the wrong name. That's the name.
It's a vino. All right. So GoodFlickas, we're giving this a 2.52 out of 5 stars.
Acceptable.
This is where I get so lost. Letterboxd is 4 out of 5. IMDb is 8.5 out of 10.
Wow.
It's the top 30, number 38 of 250 highest ranked items on IMDb.
Really?
What?
Something wrong with the world.
What is happening?
That is that higher than Lion King? Or was Lion King
Checking the notes.
because I thought Lion King was like 50 or something. Or 20.
Oh, that's so weird. Unless it just changed within a couple of weeks, it says that Lion King was 38 out of 250. And now it says this one's 30 out of 250. All right.
Wait, we need a
I'm checking live update right now. Where are we here?
Something has changed.
Because like something with that number just like clicked in my head. I was like, wait, wasn't Lion King?
Well, regardless, how the hell can you compare this movie to Lion King and think about putting it in the same rating? Like, world, wake the F.
Oh, Lion King is 37 now. So from when we did Lion King, it was 38, and now it's 37. The Lion King continues to pursue to number 1.
Oh, by 1. Wow, okay. This is
viewers. Please get your shit together so I don't lose mine. Okay.
Wait, Jet, how do you feel that Lion King is 37 and Leon the Professional is 38? How does that make you feel?
Enraged. And confused.
No, it's terrible. I don't understand.
No, my brain.
What is so popular about this movie? I don't. I'm at a loss at this.
That's the fact that they're like this really just makes me feel really bad for the world for being as lost as they are.
So I'm just looking at the list right now. This is kind of fun. We'll start at 40.
Oh, it's so upsetting. I can't let it go.
No, you know what? We'll start at 41. We're going to start at 41. This is a movie that I haven't seen yet, but it just came out 2023. I've been wanting to see it. I just haven't got to it. Oppenheimer.
Okay. This is top what now?
IMDb's top 250.
Gotcha.
List, and I'm not at the top of it. I'm just at the area that we're at. So number 41, Oppenheimer, that came out this year. I haven't seen it yet. I heard it's great. Yeah. It's Chris Nolan, my guy.
It's like 3 hours long, apparently.
That's Chris Nolan. That doesn't surprise me. And there's probably something about time that's going to mess with your brain for the next year after watching the movie.
Yeah.
The Departed, number 40.
Oh.
39 is American History X. 38, Leon the Professional. 37, The Lion King. 36, Gladiator. And 35 is Parasite.
I love how Lion King is in the middle of all of this depressing shit.
It's unbelievable.
Those are the most aggressive and saddest movies ever.
Oh, wait.
King.
34, Psycho.
Oh, my God.
Keep going. I guarantee there's more.
Like, Mufasa died. Throw that in the mix.
Yeah. The darkest moment of all time. Put it in with the other dark movies, I guess.
Jesus. I don't even know how Leon the Professional is in this conversation, though. And I will back up this when we start to dive into the movie, but I'm hoping viewers, if you guys are with us and you agree that they shouldn't be even close, let us know. But if we missed something, let us know that too.
I'm glad I remember the Lion King rating, or because I was, it's crazy.
You guys want to hear the top 5 of this list?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't matter to me anymore. I could care less.
Number 5, 12 Angry Men.
Unless I hear Titanic, they have no redemption from me.
Number 4, The Godfather Part 2. 3, The Dark Knight. 2, The Godfather. Number 1, at a 9.3, 2.8 million ratings, The Shawshank Redemption.
Get behind that.
Both of The Godfathers. That's funny.
It's a strong 5.
They didn't have the best one on there. Part 3 is the best. Like, it. It is.
You're fired. Get out of here.
Can we get it 3 more times, please?
You know it.
What's the abbreviation? IMDb?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, we're coming up with an acronym for these people real quick.
I will not make fun of IMDb because they are my favorite source.
Idiot movie decision buddy.
All right. Our pal Raj. 2.5 out of 4 stars.
All right, Raj. High five.
Seems about fair. What kind of complaints and things did he have to say?
I remember him saying a lot of it was repetitive to the Nikita movie that he had done. I don't remember all of his review, but I know he just wasn't too thrilled with that. He was, if I remember, he did really obviously like Portman's performance. I don't remember anything else though. If you want to scan the review while I continue though, and then chime in. Budget and worldwide gross, a lot of confusion going on the internet. Someone tried to say that the budget was 115 million, and I said, not in your dreams. There's no way that that's even close. So I'm just going to say that this was information not disclosed. Oscars and Golden Globes, 0 out of 0. No Oscars, no Golden Globes. It did have a few awards. We already talked about it being 38 out of 250. But you also have Portman was nominated in the 2020 awards for Best Actress. It was nominated in the awards of the Japanese Academy for Best Foreign Film. And Young Star Awards, Best Performance by an Actress, Natalie Portman. So Portman was definitely getting a lot of attention on this one. No surprise.
Yeah, not at all.
All right. Reno played Leon as if he was mentally slow. That's what his goal was on this. And it was to kind of, I guess, lighten the burden of the age difference between Portman and him and all that. Go ahead, Matt.
I mean, that might be part of it, but I think it plays into the character really well. Like,
oh, definitely.
But for the amount of information that we get about him, it makes perfect sense that he might be a little slow because I think the first time we see him with Tony, it's kind of clear that there's clear manipulation here. Like he's being manipulated, and he almost seems afraid to kind of like say anything against it and just be like, yeah. You know, like it. I don't know. I definitely got those vibes for sure. It's just I don't think it was in an effort to do anything about the age difference.
I mean, it was a smart move. It worked. It really worked well with the character. It made him very likable. He didn't come off like super aggressive, or it wasn't like, I don't know, Jason Bourne or John Wick or something like that, because that's when it gets a little dicey if you've got that type of persona going with this. Go ahead, Jen.
Oh, I was gonna say, like when he first spoke, because like you can only hear his voice and not see him. I thought it was Sylvester Stallone. I got a lot of Rocky vibes from it.
Well, I mean,
same.
Yeah,
Rocky for sure. Yeah.
If Rocky was a stealth killer, absolutely. This was Portman's movie debut. 11 years old.
11 years old. Jesus.
She beat 2,000 actresses for the role.
2,000 what?
2,000 actresses audition for the role, and she beat all of them.
Crazy.
Yeah.
11 years old. Would my mom let me talk like that? She'd be like, I don't care about your fame.
The original cut had a lot more scenes with awkward sexual tension between them, and they got rid of it. There was, again, I mentioned about deleted scene. One deleted scene that I know of for a fact is Matilda talks to Leon about how the girl's first is her first time is super important, and most girls mess up because they think that they're in love with someone and they're not in love with them, and she knows that she's in love with him, and I think we know where this is going. So I'm just like, thank you for deleting that from the movie, because that's one thing that we did not need in 1994, and we certainly don't need it in 2023. But there are other moments where you could just, from what the director's cut what they were talking about is, you can clearly feel that there is sexual tension between both characters. It wasn't just coming from Matilda; it was actually coming from Leon as well. And they got rid of most of it. Gibson, what?
I want to see those deleted scenes.
Mel Gibson and Keanu Reeves were very interested in the role of Leon.
Of course, Keanu Reeves. Yeah.
But
real young at this time. Jeez.
Luke Besson had Reno in mind the whole time. It was basically it was written for him. There was a possible Matilda amongst 2,000 others, but more of the bigger names, one of them with the name of Liv Tyler. But she was not able to do it because she was 15 years old, and that would have been, the age was just a little too old for her.
Brian, your webcam keeps like knocking all over the place. It's very disorienting.
Oh, it's because my blinds keep hitting it.
Oh, okay.
The breeze is coming in. Let's see if that does anything. Sorry.
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
You didn't feel the earthquake?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember when Liv Tyler did, looking it up, when she does Empire Records the next year. Okay, that's what it was. Because have you guys seen Empire Records? Well, so she is, I think what you said, she was 14, 15?
At this time of filming, 15.
Yeah. So she's filming Empire Records and she's 16 years old. And part of the movie and her character is like she's flirting and like actively trying to seduce an older man. And it's like really awkward on a lot of levels. And that was like a big deal because she's 16 years old. So she's an actual minor that's doing this. And so it's a very similar concept. And like you're saying with Matilda in this movie, you know, it's a child that is being far too sexual. And it's another example, but it's Liv Tyler kind of, she didn't make this role because she was too old. She gets Empire Record and she freaking nails it, but still a little awkward.
Natalie Portman used mint oil
Menthol.
For the crying scene, because apparently she was struggling to get the tears. I don't really know any facts about this. I don't know what mint oil does, but apparently it makes you cry. I'm not really sure, but this was from, I guess, a director's trick. Go ahead, Matt.
It's like menthol essentially. So it's just it stings essentially. Like if you were to take, if you had spearmint gum or peppermint gum and you chew it, like that kind of that cool sensation that you have when you breathe out. It's essentially a liquid form of that the vapors basically cause tearing.
Got it. Okay.
It's yeah, it's been used before. There's lots of techniques for how actors will kind of force tears, but that's kind of a typical one. And it's menthol is what I say. Mint oil. I think it's probably just menthol. The same thing.
Yeah, it just said mint oil, and it was basically so she can cry on cue. So any actors out there, if you guys are struggling, apparently mint oil will help you out there.
It's for the weak and children.
It's for the weak children.
And children. And
all right. Gary Oldman improvised most of his lines.
Oh, that makes sense.
No rehearsals were allowed for the dress scene.
For the dress scene?
The dress scene, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the director did not want any rehearsals allowed because once what was the reasoning for this? Something to do with the awkwardness of both actors. It's a one-time thing because it's happening. If it's just we're filming this one time, where if they rehearse it, it becomes less and less awkward or something. I don't know.
Less desensitized.
Yeah, exactly. This is amazing. During filming, someone in New York decided they're going to rob a bank. So they rob a bank in real life. This is real life. They rob a bank and they happen to stumble across the set of Leon the Professional with cops all around, all fake cops. None of them were real. The robber thought it was real cops and confessed his crime to everybody who was on set.
Holy shit, they brought SWAT in for this, guys. We gotta fucking give ourselves in.
And the whole production media team's here too.
Oh God, they got cameras, guys.
Yeah.
I'm the best.
That is hilarious. I can absolutely see why they would think that and like why they would respond that way. It's just fucking hilarious.
All right. Here's another good gem, especially for any hard time movie lovers like us. There's a movie called Wayne's World. And in Wayne's World, Mike Myers is doing the Marilyn Monroe impersonation of Happy Birthday, Mr. President. Portman was actually improvising Mike Myers doing Marilyn Monroe, not Marilyn Monroe herself, because she didn't. That's the only way that's how she knew it. She knew it through Wayne's World. She didn't actually know it was Marilyn Monroe who did this in real life.
Oh my God, that's funny.
That's
such like an 11-year-old thing to think of. Wow.
Portman's okay. So Jen, you were talking about the parents. Portman's parents had a lot to say about what was allowed and not allowed in regards to what they were going to let her 11-year-old daughter do. So you may have noticed, number one, this whole smoking thing, right? So she's 12 years old in the film. She starts off smoking, but did you notice towards the end she actually quit? She never had cigarettes and all that. Well, that was all part of the contract. They actually had in the contract, it was basically a smoking clause saying she can have a lit cigarette in her hand, she could put it to her mouth, but she can never take the drag. You will never see her blow smoke out. And throughout the movie, she needs to stop smoking. The smoking just has to be done, and she has to quit. And they said, okay, no problem. We're good with all of it. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, I noticed that when she inhales that smoke, inhales the smoke, you never see her blow it back out.
Yeah,
I was like, there's something there.
She never inhaled.
Well, she definitely puts it up to her mouth,
and that was it.
Okay, maybe I thought she inhaled for like a second before it cut away, but
she wasn't allowed to inhale. Nothing of smoking was able to happen.
Yeah, I just noticed the cut that happened. I was like, oh, they had to cut it there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just gotta say, great job to Portman's parents. I mean, way to just keep the rope nice and tight on the movie and not let them turn her daughter into a juvenile. And then last, this is no surprise at all to me, the script took 1 month to write.
It shows.
There's not much script there. Like you can tell that it was it's actions that are written, not dialogue, and that's sad sometimes.
Well, considering that Gary Oldman's character was all improvised, right? Like
there's so much about his character that I want to dig into.
Oh my god.
But
there's so much about the police in general. I have comments.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about on this one. I'm curious if this movie, when it was written, if it was designed to be in New York initially, or if they're like, yeah, let's just do that.
If it was designed to be what?
If it was designed to take place in New York like it did, or if it was written for another, had another location in mind. Because I know that was it Luc Besson is French and Jean Reno is French, and I believe that I think I saw something that the interior scenes were all shot in France and all the exterior scenes were shot in New York prior. So I'm curious if it wasn't initially designed with New York in mind, and if so, how could that have changed? Because said, like you're saying with the cops and everything, like they don't go into anything. It's just like, yep, these are the drug cops. Yep, they're bad drug cops.
Well, I know in terms of filming locations, I know that they did a lot of filming locations at the Chelsea Hotel, which I guess is a very famous hotel in New York. But there were also some locations that they filmed in Paris.
Yeah.
So I don't know if their original storyline was supposed to be in a different city.
I had mentioned it in my initial thoughts that like this had vibes like it felt like a French film. And
well, isn't there a foreign version to this film? And like there's a foreign version and then an American version?
I don't know.
I think there might be.
Isn't Jean Reno French?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you guys aren't listening to me.
Well, but no. I mean, I was agreeing with you earlier when you're saying that this felt like a French film, like because I got that vibe too. But yeah, I just wasn't sure if it was actually filmed in France or not.
From what I saw, fact-wise, the interiors of Leon's apartment were filmed in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. I'm trying to see if there is like a foreign version. I mean, I know that they did like French dubs and things like that, but I don't think it was ever. Oh, it was remade, but this looks like it's like some sort of like Indian films, like Bollywood kind of thing. But it doesn't say that it's remade as anything. No French film or anything like that. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like the setting didn't fit, or there should have been more writing to make more sense of like it being in New York City.
Yeah.
I don't know. Certain details just kind of fell short, but there's a lot that also seemed to be left out because it's like, yeah, this is just implied. Man, that's all I got for facts.
Yeah, me too.
Sweet.
Just guesses. That's all.
Well, there's a lot of things to kind of assume about this, right? Like guesses can be made. All right. But thanks for the fun facts. Very informative. And I am curious about that budget. Like that was something that was really interesting to me. Because what it said on IMDb was like FRF and then had that like 150 or 115 million number. You said it's like estimated. And I was like, what is the FRF?
I don't know.
I don't know.
And then like I think like on Wikipedia it shows that it's probably like more around 16.5 million, which that sounds
more accurate.
That sounds very accurate.
So then what's the gross? Was there a fact about the gross? How much it made?
19.5.
19.5?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean there's really no bodies in this one for it to be released.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is so weird though. We're dealing with a 8.5 out of 10 on IMDb and we're calling it a 19.5 million worldwide growth.
Yeah.
Nothing adds up. Nothing.
Yeah. This is a strange one. Maybe we discover some stuff as we get into this movie.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. But now seems like a good time to take a break. If you guys you're good, and get yourselves drinks, run to the bathroom, walk the dog. We'll take a quick break and then be back in like 5-10 minutes.
I mean, it was sitting right there. Obviously, I need to water my plant and get a glass of milk.
There you go. I can't make all the references.
And smoke a cigarette. You can take a cigarette break.
Yeah.
Smoke them if you got them.
Yeah.
All right. We'll take a quick break and then be back soon. We'll see you guys in a little bit.
I do. I got pumpkin pie Pop-Tarts. How about you?
What you doing over there?
Singing a song.
What are you singing?
I got Pop-Tarts. Yes, I do. Pumpkin pie Pop-Tarts. How about you?
All right. Well, Pop-Tart and drop it.
That's right.
Welcome back to GoodFlickas, home of the GoodFlickas. We are talking about Leon the Professional, and now is my favorite part of the evening where we find a place to start. And as I like to say, let's start at the very beginning, a very good place to start. I'm going to go ahead and just bypass the opening credits, essentially, because it's just kind of opening credits, nothing too special about that. For me, the real opening for this movie, the beginning of this movie is... I don't remember the dude's name, but essentially guy showing up to hotel with prostitute and everybody dies. This was like a really interesting way to start this movie. As far as like tone and pacing and everything, I was like, okay, and not really, I'll admit, first few moments of it, not really feeling it, kind of like, okay, well, what's going on here? Blah, blah, blah. This is kind of boring. And then shit hits the fan and it got real fun real quick. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. I and it's a shame that there weren't more scenes like this because they were exciting. They were impressive. Like I think Brian, you said it earlier, like more scenes of Leon doing the professional thing would have been really, really cool, especially for a movie that's an hour and 50 minutes long. We only got like 2 really great shootouts at the beginning and the end. Go ahead, Jen.
I was going to say that when I, well, it's my first time ever seeing this. So when I watched it, I expected, like, I think trope is the right word, where the prostitute, like, sets up the guy and, like, helps killing. I was, like, waiting for it. And so I was actually kind of surprised when it didn't happen.
Sorry, did you have more?
Oh, I was gonna say, but then they kind of made it the tropey part where she's like, okay, well, good luck with with life. You got this. So that was good.
I did like that moment. I guess technically I titled it, but I did have that quote of like she's got all of her clothes, everybody's dead except for the last guy. Shit has like hit the fan royally. She's holding half of her clothes. Okay, I'm gonna go to the grocery store. I'll talk to you later, sweetie. Like she very clearly a prostitute, but she knew in that moment, like, I'm gonna try and get away with this or whatever. I don't. But that was a funny moment. Like, and I liked it. That like there's not many, I'll say, jokes in this movie, but that was kind of like a fun way to start this with like a little comedy. But what's really interesting is like this scene doesn't really set the tone for the movie, and that's kind of a disappointing factor. Like it sets a tone, but it doesn't maintain. Like we get this high octane, high energy opening, and then the next scene it immediately drops the momentum. Go ahead, Brian.
No, you're right. If it was Leon the Professional, this really would have set the tone for the movie. But the actual movie becomes Leon the Professional Babysitter. And that is where you are correct when it's like, oh no, this is no longer the tone of the movie at all. And it just, it kind of, in a way, it almost pulls the blanket or the rug from underneath your feet on you, because you're like, well, you gave me this guy who has just insanely talented at what he does and very entertaining to watch and all that stuff. But I'm not like, enjoy the candy while it lasts, because this is all there's going to be for a while, Yeah. But yeah, it is a very entertaining opening scene. There's definitely some comical parts behind it. I don't know if everyone was just so hyped up, but to me, it almost sounded like Eddie McDouble was on scene, where someone would say something and then you would hear the exact same thing over again. It's like, we got some company, and then like the next scene is like, we got some company, and he's like, oh, is he serious? And he's like, yeah. Like, someone serious is coming, and then the big fat guy is like, someone serious is coming. I don't know. It was very entertaining in a comical standpoint, but it was also entertaining in an action standpoint. And at that point, it's like, what else do you want from the introduction to a movie?
Yeah. Good, Nick.
So my problem, I don't disagree with you guys at all, but my problem with this intro is that I almost forgot about it because it really has nothing to do with the main story. Mm-hmm. The movie is setting you up for, throwing us into the sauce of what's happening in this hotel room, but then it just like forgets about it, and then starts off with the girl and Leon, and I don't know, either like cut that out or move that to like somewhere in the middle of the movie, because we've mentioned before, like we need more Leon being the professional. Like, while Matilda is doing her cleaning and her cooking and all that, you can have some parallel storytelling of Leon, doing his job for the day, and then do like a montage style of her cleaning the next day, and then him doing his hitman thing the day after that. Like, I don't know. I just feel like that they could have structured that a little bit better, because it just has the intro just has nothing to do with the main story. But they could have they could have worked it into the main story, if that makes sense. I think Matt was first.
I just one way that they could have moved that scene. We have Leon leaves for work. I hate being late for work. That scene where he leaves to do something, to make some hit. We know he gets hit at some point because he's bleeding. He's been shot. He stitches himself up. Like that would have been a great opportunity to see Leon in action. Like it would have, you still need something to kind of like kickstart this movie. So like make it a basic hit. Don't have it to where he's proven that he doesn't have to be 100,000 feet away with a sniper rifle to kill people. But get him into a smaller fight and a smaller altercation, but getting a hit, and then have him walking up, seeing Matilda after he's just killed people, and like nothing changes, right? Like the story stays the same at that point, but we get the real meaty action scene of him taking out this fat guy later on in the movie, like in the middle of the movie when we need a real energy boost because things have kind of gotten stagnant. Because I'll say it gets a little boring towards the middle because I'm getting too far ahead of myself. I'm going to stop there. Brian, you got your hand up.
I just wanted to kind of add on to Nick's idea because I really liked where he was going with that, where it's like we get more of Leon doing his professional hits, but I kind of wanted, in a way, I'm seeing it in like a more comical montage where you've got Matilda's at home. And I would have loved to see, like, if she's cleaning, let's just say, like, the apartment window, all of a sudden you get a montage of Leon doing a hit and someone's like, maybe someone gets shot with the blood splatters on a different window. So it's like she's cleaning, he's cleaning, but you got the combining that I'm doing
here?
Yeah. Like she's organizing the fridge and Leon's like slamming someone's head in a refrigerator, something like that. I think would just been I think it would have added a little bit more flavor to the movie, and we would have got to see Leon do his thing.
Yeah, I like that, like that duality, that mirroring, like you're saying, of they're both cleaning, but I like that.
Good. Yeah, I might be jumping ahead, but I'll keep it short. I personally think that the movie should have started essentially when Matilda's, like, just before Matilda's family gets murdered. Like just before that.
So kind of like jumping to like Leon, like as he's walking up the stairs and sees Matilda.
Yeah.
So that we still get the whole like, you better have my ship by noon tomorrow or know who did it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like that should have started sooner. Because that would have kickstarted the movie for me and really got the story rolling instead of kind of like pivoting from that intro in the hotel room.
I do like that too. Like I'm really liking this re-edit that you're going with.
Dude, this is what I think about. I think about editing and storytelling. That's
what I like it because we get the title drop, Leon the professional, and we see him carrying his case. He's got his other hand by his side, and it's dripping blood, it's got blood running down it like it has. And he walks up, he sees Matilda, and the whole movie starts from there. Like, I really like that, and saving that scene of him having the big shootout later on, potentially when he goes off on the other hit and he comes back with a dress for, like, I don't know. I'm liking the potential for that story layout more than what we saw.
Yeah.
I still want more scenes though. That's the thing. It's like it's that hour and 50-minute mark that's kind of bothering me with all of this, because it's not, I wouldn't say that they wasted time, but at the same time, I don't feel like they used all of their time. Not to say, because they deleted scenes. We've already talked about how there's massive holes in the script that could potentially have, reasons explained, but it just it doesn't really feel like we get much of the professional. Yeah. All right. Does anybody have anything else they want to add to intro scene? I mean, I feel like the fire's already going that we want to talk about other things, so I'm happy to move on.
No, I think I said everything.
Yeah. All right. So it would be the scene of the movie for you guys if you have one.
Well, I'll go first because I already mentioned it, but for me, it's Please Let Me In. That's my title.
Ooh, yeah.
Please Let Me In.
Oh, got it. Yeah. Mine is Paint by Kill Number.
That's when they shoot the paint gun. Any name.
That's an interesting thing. See, there's okay, that's a good thing to get into as well. The only one that I actually wrote a name down for was when the opening scene, and it was Bye Hooker.
Is what?
Bye Hooker.
Bye Hooker?
Bye Hooker.
Like Bye Felicia?
Yeah, Bye Hooker.
Bye Hooker.
That was the only one I actually wrote a title for, but that's not really like my scene. I don't know. I'll give it to the
Jen. What was yours?
Oh, mine is yours. I just don't have a name for it.
Oh. Okay.
Because I could care less about this damn movie.
I can already see a big gap in the video timeline where I know I'm going to cut this part out.
I got nothing, man. I got nothing. I have nothing. There's no other scene that really calls out to me.
You should fill it with the peanut butter banana guy.
I think we should just move on. Let's talk about your scenes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your scenes. We've got Nick. What was yours again? Let Me In.
Please Let Me In.
Please Let Me In, and the paintball. I want to talk about the paintball one first. I think it's a shorter conversation.
Yeah, it's pretty short. Yeah. I wrote it down because, well, for a couple of reasons. First of all, we're actively showing a 12-year-old how to become a sniper.
Right.
And I'm like, this is happening. Okay. Second of all, I wasn't sure if this gun was loaded or not. With the way this movie was going, I'm like, I think this could be a random assassination that we're about to see right now. I wasn't sure if it was blanks. I wasn't sure. I'll tell you one thing. I didn't think paintball. Never even crossed my mind that it was going to be paint. And then the way that they were filming, and it was really cool. Like just filming through the crosshairs, and just like that zoom in and that close up, and I was like, oh damn, this is really good. So like I just really appreciated the way that they filmed and everything. But then when they actually did the firing, and then it just happens to be paint that it is, and then she's like, can we do real bullets tomorrow? And I was like, oh my god, this chick is ridiculous. It's just like they were making, I mean, truly they were making killing and assassinating a genuine sport like feel in this movie. And again, it's a 12-year-old that we're talking about, who is so just, they're little sponges at this point. You can mold them. You can implement your ideas and basically form them into the person that you want them to be. And I'm like, this is probably a line that we shouldn't be crossing at this point. But anyway, it's definitely one that imprinted in my memory. But overall, though, I thought it was a really enjoyable scene with the way that it was done. Really weird mixed feelings on this movie, just in general for me. I struggled with it.
I thought they did a really good job with this scene of building like anticipation and anxiety, because they make it very clear that this guy who is about to go jogging is some sort of politician or like
you almost look like Jay Leno.
Could have, like a celebrity, something like, I don't know. But they make it clear that this guy is important. Like he's got Secret Service or he's got bodyguards. Like it's clear that this guy is important. And then we get cut to them on the roof and unloading this gun. And it's like, okay, pick someone. Just like anybody, anyone. And like the fact that he's just like so cavalier about that, like, yeah, just pick someone. It doesn't matter. Like, that's like, holy shit. Okay. You're just telling her to just shoot some random person.
No women, no children.
That was the rules, right?
Those are the rules.
So of course she finds the guy in the freaking bright orange jacket that's like, look at me.
Reminded me of Malibu's Most Wanted.
I could see that. But
B Rabbit.
B Rad G. But as she's doing this whole thing of, like he's like, okay, you've got your target. Okay. Follow his movements, predict where he's gonna go. Find it, hold your breath, fire. Like as all of this is going on, like it does, like it's just like, oh shit, she's gonna shoot this guy. She's gonna shoot this guy. Like, and it's gonna be a big deal if she shoots this guy.
Yeah.
Like they're already in kind of deep shit. Like, could you imagine if they had randomly assassinated a politician? Like, you're so fucked now. You've got the DEA after you and a politician. Like, right. You're so screwed. You're so screwed. So like I really like how they do it of like building that anticipation, and then she finally fires the gun and it's paint. And of course, everybody panics like they should. And meanwhile, the guy's just like, it's okay. I just got the wind knocked out of me. It's all fine. I'm fine.
I can't breathe.
Yeah, like he's trying so hard to just be like, it's okay.
Right.
Go ahead, Nick.
Here's my head scratcher, and you already said it, but who the fuck wears a bright yellow tracksuit especially when you're like running around tall buildings?
Yeah.
And you're important, in the public eye. Like it doesn't make sense. And even if you have 4, bodyguards around you, like you're still open. You're still open in any line of fire. Because what's going to happen? Somebody shoots you, kills you, and then the 4 bodyguards are like, "Oh no, they shot and killed you!" Like,
if anything, he's more noticeable because the bodyguards are in like black suits.
Yeah, it just draws more attention.
It's just going to pop even harder than if you had no black around you.
Like, that was not a smart move on their part.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Mistakes were made. Yeah. All right. Anybody have anything else to add to that one?
No, that was.
It's a good scene.
Yeah, it's entertaining. It's small. While we're on it, though, that's like the first moment of training that we see, and that's about it. We don't really see much more training going on. And,
montage of like unloading and reloading and cleaning and taking care of your equipment. But
yeah,
in terms of using, no, that's it.
Yeah, it just those are the little things that kind of bother me. That there's even dialogue of the whole like, where have you been, man? You haven't been taking any hits in a while. It's like, oh, I've been training.
Yeah,
and she says it too. Like, I'm so tired of training. It's like, I haven't seen any of it. I've seen you guys work out a couple of times and drink milk. You fired a gun one time. Like,
I did a lot of sit-ups.
Yeah, like where's this real training? Like,
where's the training?
And for her to at the end be like, can't I take a hit? Can't I get a job instead? I can clean. It's like, what? You've been caught how many times? You're terrible at this. No, you cannot clean. Sorry, I'm getting flashbacks to Natalie Portman and V for Vendetta. Like it's weird. It's weird. It's weird how close those characters are. Try to move past that. But yeah, that it just kind of bothers me that there's not a ton of training. There's not a lot of Leon being a professional. Like it's the real juicy stuff that they could have leaned into. They just chose not to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I really think that the film was really just showcasing the relationship between the two. Like that's what really the core of the story is about, is the two of them and how they built that relationship. However you want to interpret it, that's what their focus was.
This is why I want to see the deleted scenes, because I get the whole like sexual vibes that are coming from Matilda, because they're obvious and just in your face. But I never really get that from Leon. Like everything that I get from him, like his reactions to what she's doing and saying, it's like it's shock, it's surprise, and sometimes it's disgust. Like it never really feels reciprocated in a romantic way. But I see, for me, the vibe I really got was more like of a father-daughter kind of vibe, where, you know, she's got a terrible home life, she's got a terrible father, a terrible mother, all of these things, and like she latches on to this guy, and because she doesn't know what to do with her emotions, and because she's already been ruined by her real family, like that's where her mind has been warped to. But he sees her as, you know, like this daughter, like this girl that he should protect, this child he should protect and save, and ultimately, you know, make a sacrifice for them. I don't know whose hand went up first.
Is Brian.
So I can see where, you know, how you're saying that obviously a lot of the sexual tension is coming from Matilda, and there really isn't a lot coming from Leon. And I agree with that, but what was bothering me is what Leon wasn't doing. And there was no I'm shutting this shit down. Like, your actions are completely inappropriate. We're not doing this. You want me to help you and teach you how to clean. That's your life. If that's what you want to do, you know, whatever. I'm really good at it. That's fine. But this whole relationship, this whole thing is not going to happen. That's what was never said, or there wasn't any of the I'm basically locking this shit up. Right. And it's just like I think he let her get too close involved into his inner circle, if you will, or his you know, his personal space bubble. And to me, it's like, so you say your father's daughter, and I'm like, no, I think the line was crossed for the father-daughter relationship. It would have been nice if the movie had gone that route, where it was more like either father-daughter or even brother-sister connection. Because I'm not saying that a person can't hang out with someone that's super young. That's just impossible, right? But the tonality of the movie has to meet that of which would be a brother-sister or a father-daughter. And it just didn't. It pushed the line too far. It tried to stretch it a little too much.
I think this is a good segue into talking about my scene, which was you know, please let me in.
So where are you starting the scene?
Well, I started essentially when she's coming back from the grocery store with her groceries.
Okay.
Yeah. Like you see her on the sidewalk and she goes in, she goes up the stairs. But before I talk about that, it's clear that Matilda's family is fucked up. Like they don't care about each other. They have egos. They, whatever.
In 1990s, bad to be Matilda. It's not a good time.
Yeah, I will say that threw me off a little bit when she said her name was Matilda. I was like, Matilda? There's only one Matilda. So she has this family that just doesn't give a shit about her except for her little brother.
Yeah.
And so for my scene, she has the bag of groceries. She sees that her apartment door is open. There's like a very bad man looking guy standing out front with a gun, and she does her like side eye, sees her brother dead on the floor at the front door, and so she has this like quick thinking of, oh, well, I know that there's this guy across the hall. I'm just gonna keep walking and just pray that he lets me in, because as we know, he's always looking through his peephole through the door. So he sees what's going on. And he kind of sees what her and her family are like. And this is like the pivotal point, is when she's at this door and she has her mint oil or whatever and is crying, and she's just like, please let me in, please let me in. She like tries to look back and not be super obvious about it. She's scared for her life, and Leon's just standing there. Like he doesn't immediately let her in, but I think that when he does, I feel like that sort of establishes their relationship as him kind of being now a caretaker for this girl. Not so much like he has sexual feelings for her or that he wants to be a fatherly figure. I feel like he was left with no choice, that if he did not let her in, that she was going to eventually die. And so, yeah, I just think that their relationship was like him taking care of her. But yeah, just the suspense of her not getting inside of that apartment door. It was intense. It was powerful, sad and emotional. And it was like time had essentially stopped, or it was going really slow. And like that's why I picked that scene, because it is the most pivotal point in the film for me, for her as a character. Because later she, we just talked about her doing the training and like loading the gun and stuff. Like she's like smoking, cussing, and like she's kind of like trying to be edgy and grown up. But this is the one moment you see her be vulnerable and scared. Like this is like the first real bad thing, like traumatic thing that has happened in her life, and she doesn't know how to. Like she's never experienced this before. So, yeah. Go ahead, Matt.
You brought it up. Like I thought, like the smartest thing that she did was walking straight past her own apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Like she, like you said, she had enough thought to be like, okay, this guy is standing outside of my door. The door is kicked open. He's scary looking. And the fact that she doesn't like make real eye contact with him, she just kind of just beelines it. She keeps going straight, and it was the smartest thing that she had done, because there's so many things after that it's me thinking about Leon's well-being. I'm like, she screwed him. She's fucking up. Stop it. And that always tends to be the case, right? Is like, if you're the caretaker and you're this assassin dude, inevitably they're going to lead you to your demise. And that's what's happening at the door. Leon is fighting himself of, do I save her or do I maintain the status quo and allow myself to remain anonymous and pretend like I didn't care? That's the battle that's going on with him. Ultimately, he opens the door. And I love that he doesn't stop. Like, I mean, she's in now. He immediately gone back to the door, looking through the peephole. And I really love the moment where he's looking through, he's got the gun on the door. He sees the guy moves, he moves the gun. Like that was just, it's a subtle thing that I love to see. And what's really interesting is like what saves Leon is she turns on that fucking TV. She saves Leon with Transformers. That's awesome. But like it's God, what a intense moment, right? Like this is one of those scenes where like they did such a great job. Like this is well written, this is well executed, this is so good. And then why can't everything be this good? Why not? But yeah, I'm trying to see if I had anything else. Oh, sorry, Brian, before I hand it over to you, the last thing that was a visual that I loved, she's standing in the doorway, she's crying, please let me in, please let me in. And she's cast in shadow. And he opens the door, but they show it from like the door's perspective. So as the door opens, it's just this bright light brought upon Matilda. It's like this saving light. And like it's metaphorical, but it's in your face. Like, you know, it's this literal saving light. And it's like those are the things that I love from a cinematic standpoint of like that is executed beautifully, and I love it. Go ahead, Brian.
Well, I just wanted to make sure, are we done with this part of the scene, or?
I suppose. Unless anybody else has anything to add.
Okay. The reason why I asked is I just wanted to kind of take it back just a few minutes and talk about a scene that I titled Married and Dead with Children.
Wow.
Wow. This got dark quick. Go on.
Yeah. If what we weren't talking about wasn't dark.
Well, I mean, like this movie is dark enough, but he comes up with a title like that. Holy shit.
And it's like a pun. It's like a dark pun.
It is a pun. You guys know the TV show Married with Children, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I wanted to talk about this because it's basically right around what we were talking about. But honestly, this is the moment that sparks the fire of Matilda's revenge. And quite frankly, it's a scene that I'm just like, oh my God, there was just a lot that went down in that scene. If you think about it, like it starts off with them showing us that it's 12 o'clock or it's almost 12 o'clock. And you're like, oh my God, shit is about to go down. Like you just knew it. And then they're like coming up the stairs and they're all like going to their own posts and they just keep I was like, how many did you freaking bring? Like, this is one family. Like, this is tons of guys. And then of course you get the Gary Oldman's character, Stan, or Stansfield, I believe is his actual name, but I know he went by Stan. Just a great time for him to shine on how demented this dude is, where he's like, don't you love the calming feeling? It reminds me of Beethoven. And it's just like, cue the massive murder, because here, like, you just knew it was coming. And the way that they did it, I mean, you know, you got the wife in the bathtub, and she just doesn't even know what hit her before it was too late. The daughter's running down the hallway. What's weird is like, maybe the dad was just in like sticker shock, but there was no like emotion for his family at all. Like he hears everything going down, but like no screaming, no crying, no anything. But again, probably just pure fear. But this just the whole thing, I'm very, very, very glad. It sucks that they took the brother down, but I get it. that was the only thing that connects the motive of revenge for Matilda, because she doesn't give two shits about her family, because her family doesn't give two shits about her. So that checks out. It sucks that the 4-year-old had to take the blunt for it. However, I'm really, really glad that they didn't show it. You know, they obviously show the mom, they show the teenage daughter, or the probably older than teenage daughter, but I'm just glad that they kept you knew that the 4-year-old was murdered, but you didn't have to actually see the murder go down. So, but dark scene, but I think it was well executed in terms of what you need me to see. You need me to see that Matilda is going to want revenge for this. You need me to see the type of character Stan is. And you need me to see that although these are... I didn't know that they were DEA for a while. I'm wondering if you guys had the same problem. I didn't realize that they were DEA until halfway through the movie. Yeah, I'm like, same. Holy shit, these guys... I thought that they were just drug cartel, or people dealing with... I had no idea that they were DEA, but I was like, these guys are like off the beat DEA. It was very weird. Anyway,
they say they're DEA after they kill the family and they scare the old lady back into her room, but that felt like...
Can you believe it?
No, yeah,
exactly.
It felt like a lie. It's like, yeah, I'm saying this to like calm the lady down.
Yeah, but I didn't realize that they were DEA until they actually went into the building. I was like, holy shit, these are actually DEA.
Crooked DEA, that's what it is. I just want to highlight the wife bathtub scene death. What a shocker of a scene. My God. I mean, like, they show it, like the shotgun blast, and like she's in there and it's like just like red blood everywhere. And then to make it even worse, is like a couple of minutes later, they show like the back of the bathtub, and you see the hole through the I'm like, oh, like you see like her hair like kind of like hanging over like the edge, and then the hole in the tub. I was like, oh my God, what a fucking brutal way to go.
Yeah,
that was something. Yeah. Anyway,
well, let's talk about these guys for a bit. They're DEA.
Yeah,
they're clearly fucked up, but what's weird is the main guy, Stan, right? Like, this dude is next level bonkers, and I mean, even his men are afraid of him. Like, this dude will kill me. Like, I don't, like, I work for him, I don't trust him because he's scary as a motherfucker. Like,
I don't know how he became DEA. How do you pass the psych test?
There's so much I'm curious about. What's with these pills he's taking that, like, one, these are capsules. Why are they crunching? Why are they crunching?
Great sound effects. I got really good sound effects.
It was good, but like, why? This is a capsule. They don't crunch like that. It's not a tablet.
I don't know why they were crunching.
But what the fuck was it that causes him to like get all fucking weird? Like, what?
The crack
point
rock.
To his face up to the heavens, and
that's the thing, right? It's like
he's like biting into a crack rock.
He might legitimately be just jumping down on freaking crack rocks. I don't know. It's really insane that this guy is in charge. It makes me wonder, because
I don't know what it is too. It's always so terrifying when the person is that just bad shit crazy, but they love listening to music. There's something about that trope that is just absolutely terrifying, where it's like you're listening to like Beethoven. He said he loves Mozart. Like, we're talking like classical music, and then he's doing this stuff, and I'm like, it just adds a bit of a extra eeriness to it.
Well, have you ever seen like scenes in movies where people are dying in slow motion and there's like classical music being played? Like, it's that idea.
There's someone, I'm thinking of a movie that they listen. He listens to headphones while he analyzes crimes. Oh, it's
Boondock Saints.
Yes. Thank you. I was gonna say it's I can't even think of his name right now.
Willem Dafoe.
Yes, thank you. Willem, wow, you're saving me right now. Yes, it's Willem Dafoe. He listens to classical music while he analyzes crime scenes that have already happened. And I'm just like, God, this is cringy, but I love it.
I loved how he used the music. Talking about Beethoven, and then he walks in and he starts shooting people. Like it's he basically makes his own music in it, and it's fucking insane. But I love the conversation that he has with Matilda's dad, right? Like he then becomes the calm before the storm. Like the rest of the guys are looking for the kid. That's it. He's taking care of the mom. He's got the daughter. They're looking for the kid. He's got dad. And he pulls this whole conversation out of his ass of like, you're not a fan of Mozart, or you're not a fan of Beethoven. You're a Mozart guy, aren't you?
Yeah.
And then he goes on to explain everything. Like, I'm more into the heavy stuff. You know, like that's when somebody is talking about classical music in a way that it's like the difference between classic rock and freaking heavy metal.
Right.
Like, that's one, it's hilarious because I don't comprehend classical music that way. But what an interesting way of describing it, and then having like a way to kind of like back up what you're saying. Whether it's accurate or not is not the point. But like, he's got this way of backing up what he's saying, and it's terrifying.
It's like comparing like Styx to Slipknot.
Yeah. Exactly. They're the same, right? No. Come sail away.
I don't know, but I guess just more on the whole like DEA thing. I obviously they have their own agenda.
Clearly.
And I don't know if like, and this is just from lack of information giving pretty much, because it's like, okay, you have your own agenda, but I mean, do you deal with the mob on the side? Like what exactly is going on? Do you have like some of the mob in your pockets and they help you out, or I'm just not, it's really poor storytelling. It's like, are we talking like freaking Training Day status where they really do have their own agenda and they're just like doing their own shakedown so they can take all the money and, you know, get all the credit, but you know, take a bunch of money on the side? Like, I just don't know really what's going on here, and they didn't fully disclose anything there. And then on top of that, the whole like Matilda escaping thing, there's pictures of the family around. You had one girl that just walked by and you hear them say, hey, we're missing has anyone seen an 11-year-old girl? I'm like, how did you guys miss the mark on this? Like, it seemed to me like a pretty cut and dry case, but these DEA agents are just, I guess, a breed of their kind.
There's a lot to unpack with these guys. Like you said, there's no clear motivation for what they're doing or what their operation is. We find out later that he's like, you know, he has linked up with the mob to be like, you know, we've hired you to get people killed that we need killed, and you know, like we've used you.
Right.
Like there's that he describes, you know, we gave you whatever drugs. It was 100% pure, but it came back 90% pure. Who's cutting our shit? It's you. Why are you like, but what's that about?
I mean, they're DEA.
But it's yeah, what is that even about? What does that have to do with anything of like,
exactly
why do you care that he cut your drugs? Obviously he's using them or selling them, but why do you care? Are those drugs because you have to get them to some cartel because you're working on the back end and you need it to be 100% pure? Why is it so important that this be pure? And why is it so important that you get this guy who cut it? Because he seems like a nobody.
Yeah.
Who knows? It's certainly the downfall of them not writing the things or explaining it in any way. Although I think I can give him a pass for not kind of like jumping on Matilda when she's walking through, simply because, like I said, the smartest thing she does is she keeps it straight. Mm-hmm. If she had kind of like veered or like, oh my gosh, what's that? Like, like if she had given any indication that was her home, they would have been all over it. And Guy got suspicious later when he's like, she's knocking, but she's not getting in. Like that, what's that about? Like, so he does get suspicious eventually, but I don't know.
Well, to add on to that, there's then that scene where Oldman's character like finds the family portrait, and he's like, "Oh, find this girl. We haven't killed her." And then I think he shows it to the guy standing guard out front, and he walks up to the door, and he's like, nah, and then walks back. And I'm like, so nothing? Yeah. Like not even like a knock on the door, like to add suspense. Just like walks to the door and is like, nah, and then walks away. I'm just like, come on, man. Like give us a little bit more zest in that. No, I don't know.
Can you do better than Robots in Disguise?
I don't get the reference.
She watched Transformers. They are robots in disguise.
I've never seen the Transformers movies.
Okay, well, that wasn't the movie. TV show way before.
Or the TV show.
Yeah. You know what Transformers are. You can't tell me you've never heard their Transformers, robots in
disguise.
Yeah, you can't tell me.
I know they transform into cars and boats and stuff, but anyway, but yeah, I don't know. That guy, that guard was like, that was his second fail,
Yeah,
of the day.
All kind of failed.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at my notes. I have a lot of head scratchers and nitpicks that stem down to the police. I'll try to link them in as we're talking about things. So here's one of them that we're talking about right now. I wrote down a nitpick that the whole family has been now murdered and taken out, right? And like police are on their way because you hear sirens. Like, so it's not just like a DEA situation or their crew DEA situation. This is now going public. I mean, shots were fired out the windows, like things, a lot of shit went down in this apartment building that people just can't ignore. Here's my nitpick. They see that the family's dead, but they also know that the Matilda is not amongst the family of deceased. Yet no police is looking for her. They're not trying to do any type of like, let's try to find this girl. Let's make sure that we already know that her life is in danger because they obviously killed all the family. I just couldn't believe that the police you don't see one thing about the police trying to say, okay, where's Matilda? Where's the last time anyone saw her? No one's even talking to people. No one's talking to residents of the apartment building. Just nothing. There's no detective work going on here.
Maybe it's just that time in New York, early 90s, where it was just a kind of
scary, just another missing kid. We'll deal with it later.
It's a scary ass place to be, man. It's like you either survive or you don't.
Jesus. I mean, early 90s New York, you're right. It wasn't the best, nor was LA.
I agree with you, Brian, but I think that changes the story. Because now it's like you're getting the police more involved, and which I think would take away from Matilda and Leon, because the story is not really about seeking justice for the family that died. It's
for Matilda.
Like,
it is
a whole other movie, huh?
For Matilda, it is.
Well, I mean, yeah, for her brother, but
that's why she wants to be a cleaner.
Well, but she wants revenge for her brother.
Correct.
But she's going to do it herself. Like right? Like she doesn't want police involved.
No,
at
yes,
least like that's the vibe I get from it.
that's true. But also, like, even if the police are involved, Leon is a professional hitman. If he doesn't want to be found, he will not be found. So, involve the police, but I don't think it's going to change the agenda of Leon or Matilda. Jen?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to add to that.
You want to know what's going on in my head right now? Because you said in the 90s. Try and guess where I'm going with. What if Matilda partnered with Kevin?
Good.
With what?
Kevin McAllister and Matilda.
And Matilda.
Modern day Bonnie and Clyde.
That's going on in my head.
I like this idea. I think we need to get Natalie Portman and Macaulay Culkin together and see if they'll
make a crossover.
Just do an assassin movie.
Yeah.
Like a Spy Kids, but assassin kids.
They are adults. They're not going to be spy kids.
What's even funnier is they did Home Alone Lost in New York, so it actually could have.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's.
What if this is on the same timeline? Like it's the next door neighbor that's Kevin McAllister's.
It's gotta be.
When was Lost in New York?
Matilda's gonna be like
94, 95.
All right, we're gonna need some few supplies. You got any money? No, I don't have any cash. What about a credit card? Credit card?
You got it. It's the best movie ever. I like that movie better than the one we watched.
Oh god.
So it's gonna be like, once we get these weird ass dudes that off your back, like I don't know what was going on with these two. Like I've got some real shit that I'm dealing with here. So
you got the sticky bandits and I've got DEA.
Like I just need you to line up your sticky bandits in front of that door right there. We'll have them taken care of in 2.2 seconds.
Just to kind of go back to your point, Brian, about like why the police activity or the lack of police activity in this movie. I can't remember if it was we had talked about before a movie that had a lack of police in general, and I think was it The Italian Job? Probably.
There's like no cops in that one except for the beginning.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, they're on the chase on the Venice Canal.
Or was it The Departed? I can't remember. There was a movie where there was like no police.
Yeah.
Are you a cop?
Yeah.
You
all cops. That's the joke. They're all cops.
Yeah, but we had said that there's just like we were like, where the fuck is the police in this movie with all of the crimes that were happening? It was around that time when we watched Italian Job. But while you're thinking, I just want to mention that I think sometimes when movies don't include like realistic police activity, it's because it's not. It takes away from the story itself, in my opinion. Because this movie is not about cops trying to seek justice for this family. Like that's not what the story is about.
Right.
So yeah.
But if you're gonna have a massive family homicide go down, there's got to be cop involved. You can't just keep this on the down low. Do you get what I'm saying here?
Oh, I do. I totally do. I mean, even if it was just like a quick, like 10-second scene, like cut to an hour later of like detectives and officers with like caution tape. Well, I mean, the caution tape is there, but
they have a literal conversation with Stan about what the fuck happened here. And he gets all worked up and he's like, I did my fucking job. I don't give a shit. Peace. And then storms out. Like, right. It's clear that the cops, like the actual cops, are like questioning this dude. Like they are not sold on this guy's story. and they never address it ever again.
But again, they never one time address that they're looking for Matilda, or even Matilda's a thought in their heads at this point. So I don't know.
I guess it just wasn't important enough.
Yeah, again, poor Matilda.
Yeah.
Nick, that movie you're talking about, we just watched it, and I'm trying to think. I know, like, they were in a car, and they were on the highway, and they had to veer off and go down, like, LA. What was it? We just watched it, where we were like, there are no cops, and there's also no traffic, and it doesn't make any sense.
It was the one with the Mini Coopers, right?
Yeah.
Was it Italian Job?
Oh, yeah.
The Italian Job, wasn't that one?
No, it was a more recent one that we just watched. What the heck was it?
Because we were like, oh yeah, like where the fuck is LAPD? Like there's no LAPD officers. Speed?
No, it wasn't Speed.
No.
It was similar, like, because I made a joke about Speed when we did that movie. We just watched it. I'm trying to think.
Kindergarten Cop?
No.
No.
Well, let me quickly go back on this.
No.
The Rocketeer?
No.
Gotti?
Oh, it was like an action film.
It wasn't Gotti.
I don't know.
No. It was a while ago. I think it might have been like earlier this year or last year.
It feels like we just
Bad Boys? No.
Oh, it's gonna drive me nuts.
It's only going to drive me nuts because you guys won't accept that it's the Italian Job.
I know. I keep saying it's the Italian Job, but they keep saying it's not.
No, it's not.
Bullet Train.
No, okay, so we did the Italian Job in September of last year, which a year ago.
Wow, that's crazy.
How do I remember that? That's weird.
Well, while you guys do that,
anyway, it's the Italian Job. Let's move on.
I have a head scratcher.
Let me go to work.
But it's also gonna definitely bring up a scene.
Training Day?
I don't think it was Training Day. Because they were cops.
They were cops, but they're also nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the head scratcher that like I said, it's gonna bring up a scene, but here's my head scratcher for you guys. Where did Matilda get her dress up clothes from?
Who cares? Like,
why? Who cares? Why? Who cares?
Because, like, why does it matter?
I'm curious because it's clear that when she goes back to her house and she's eavesdropping and she finds out where Stan works and all of that stuff. She collects a bag, so she does get clothes. I mean, if I'm just gonna play devil's advocate on it, like she grabbed a bunch of clothes, and it's clear that like some like the underwear when she's doing Madonna is very clearly her mother's. Yeah, like it's way too big for her. Like it's obviously it's not hers, but
it was Speed 2. That was the movie. Sorry. It was Speed 2.
A movie that we didn't watch.
We did watch.
Oh no, we did watch it.
Yes, I'm on the GoodFlickas page. That's how I found it. Instagram at good.flickas, everybody.
What a perfect plug.
All right, so wait.
Anyway,
I guess I must have missed that she ended up having brought it back because I thought they were in like a completely different hotel because they had already had to move because she decided to shoot out the window.
Yeah, she goes back.
Right, I know she goes back to her original home, but
Yeah,
I can't remember. I couldn't remember if that scene happened before or after when they're playing dress up. But I just remember I was like, there's no way Leon just had these clothes laying around. Otherwise, he has a lot of explaining to do. But anyway, okay, cool. But I did want to talk about the scene. What did you guys think of the scene?
Okay. If we're going to go with like complaints and things, this is one that I had an issue with. I can understand him not necessarily recognizing Madonna. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy who's going to be listening to modern music. But it is very clear that he watches old-timey movies. He watches Gene Kelly. He watches classical musicals, which, by the way, I love that scene existed. So it's clear that he watches and enjoys classical cinema. And the fact that like Marilyn Monroe wouldn't have shown up for any of those, that's where I'm like, okay, you're not going to recognize Marilyn Monroe.
That's pretty good. I don't have an argument on that. You're right.
That's because when she does Gene Kelly, like she does freaking Charlie Chaplin and nails it. Like she's doing great. Like,
oh, her Charlie Chaplin was so good.
So good. Which for Charlie Chaplin, I'd almost make an argument too of like, how does he not know Charlie Chaplin? But he is a silent film star.
Yeah.
I'm going to move past that. But like Marilyn Monroe, there's no way he should miss that.
Yeah.
Gene Kelly, he didn't miss. He does freaking not Clint Eastwood. That's the guess.
John Wayne.
Yeah. So like he knows like that's the one. That's the one little complaint I have.
Oh, that's not bad.
But other than that, her impressions were really good.
I thought I was so entertained. Well, I could have watched her do a couple more.
Hey, I did think it was funny that she gives herself the Madonna mole and she keeps the mole for Marilyn Monroe. I was just like, I thought that was a fun little touch that she just picks two females that have moles.
Yeah.
But I loved about the Charlie Chaplin part was that because the camera starts like at the feet, and as soon as it started at the feet, I was like, oh, that's Charlie Chaplin. Like there's just something about the way like the feet are on the legs and like the wide brown pants and the walk. Like the first second I knew it was Charlie Chaplin. I didn't get Madonna. Like the first one was Madonna.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't get that one.
Like a virgin.
Yeah. Touch for the very first time. You shouldn't be saying that, you little girl. You're 11 years old.
Yeah.
You've already established this movie is far too inappropriate.
Yeah. Couldn't you have done a different song, guys?
Yeah. I think it was the point.
Yeah.
I think that was the point. Because the next thing she does is freaking Marilyn Monroe.
Right.
Happy, which is literally the seduction of a president.
Yep.
Well,
Portman crushed it on all of them. Really good job.
It does make me like so happy that her Marilyn Monroe impression is
Mike Myers.
That's so funny to me. I whenever I make fun of that whole happy birthday, Mr. President. Because he does that, the whole lips thing, and she does it too. Like I make fun. That's just so funny. It's so funny. Go ahead, Nick.
So I don't mean to like flip this around totally, but you know, I get the idea that from Jen and Brian that like they were like you guys are not like super comfortable with the child in love, sexual tension, that kind of stuff. I honestly kind of had a little bit of a problem with some of like the outfits that she was wearing. Like at one point, I can't remember if it was, I guess for the Madonna one, but she has just like a black like bra, lingerie, bra kind of thing. And I was a little uncomfortable seeing that for sure. I don't know. It just, for an 11-year-old to be dressing like that, like there's got to be some rules in Hollywood about that kind of stuff.
She's an 11-year-old girl, but she was dressed like a 17, 18-year-old in the 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, it was definitely 90s fat. I was like, wow, this is 90s.
but like I was just
jacket.
uncomfortable. It was
It was a little. It was like, nope. Once again, it's like you need to, tone her. I get that you're trying to make her look older because of what the movie that we're about to watch is, but still, it's definitely a little weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go ahead, Jen.
All of them were.
It's not that weird because, like, when I was in elementary school, that's when like the belly shirts came out,
right?
And like, those type of pants, and it's just what 11 and 12-year-old girls would do. Guilty. But we wouldn't do it in front of our parents.
You're all sluts. No.
Oh my God.
I take it back.
She wasn't too far off with the wardrobe. That's for sure.
Well, fine. I gave her the benefit of the doubt, thinking that she was like trying to dress like a 17, 18-year-old. Apparently, she was right in the ballpark.
Exactly. No, that's
making everyone feel uncomfortable if you're a male and old.
That's exactly what she was doing. That's exactly what she was doing.
Yeah.
Was dressing older than she should have.
Huh.
I mean, everything about her was trying to be older than she was, right? Like, why are you smoking? You're 11 years old.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess to add to this too is it's not like Jen, what you're saying, like it's sort of like it's a fashion statement with like you and your friends or whatever during the time. What makes it a little bit weird for me is that she's 11 and dressing like this in front of like adult men in a studio. You know what I mean? Like non-character, like just
you're going outside of the movie. Okay.
Like that's what's a little weird to me. Is like that was the filming day. That day was her dressed like that, and like that's what makes it uncomfortable for me more so. And it's like she's getting paid, like it's all like legit, of course, but like it's still like she's getting paid to do this, and she's in front of a bunch of adults with like cameras, and I don't know. Like it feels like exploitation, but not. Matt, did you have something to add to that?
Well, I'm just I'm trying to look it up now, but one, I'm with you, like especially in the 90s with like Me Too movement and everything else that we've got going on right now that's like calling out all of the atrocities of that time period and even earlier of what things were like. I can see the concern and like absolutely be there with you, but I would guarantee that with how involved her parents were with the script and the story and how she would be portrayed in it and all of that, I'm fairly certain that they are on set and they are protecting her this entire time. If I'm a parent and my child is on set, I don't care. Like, I don't care. I don't care how comfortable they say they are and like, no, there's nothing to worry about. And it's like, no, I'm on set because my child who is 11 years old and is doing this movie for you, I will be on set.
Right.
I will be there. And I think that's why, like, when she does the Madonna thing, she's got like, they're like biker shorts or that's not what they're actually called. They might be called Spanx. I don't know women's clothing that well, but she's got whatever underneath the panties that she's wearing to like actually cover her from like knee up. So like she's fully covered, and it's just they did put her in somewhat promiscuous outfits, but they never really reveal too much. But the thing that I was trying to figure out, so she's 11 years old doing this movie. How old was Jodie Foster when she does Taxi Driver?
I don't know.
I'm on their thing right now because I want to say that she was I think she was like 13 or 14 and she's playing a prostitute.
Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Like it's 1976 this movie comes out. She's a 13.
Yeah, I was going to say you're
playing a prostitute and same stuff. But I will say that I don't sorry.
And it's not the same.
It's not the same, but I mean, like it's the same, and you have a child who is being put into that position, right? Like is put into a position where they're going to be wearing promiscuous and I don't have
revealing clothing, right?
Yeah, thank you. Yes. So and I want to say for Taxi Driver, they did a pretty good job of not like showing too much skin of Jodie Foster's. I want to say like the most that she's wearing is like a tube top and like high-waisted shorts at one point. But like it's just a weird thing. You're trying to tell these stories, and it's child prostitutes or promiscuous child that is trying to be overly flirtatious with an adult man. Like, you try to tell these stories and it's always going to be awkward. It's always going to be weird because you have a real life child playing this fictional person. Always going to be weird.
Yep. It's like, how does that affect their psychology at 11? Well, like you're not barely starting puberty at that point.
I want to know what Natalie Portman's life was like in the 90s, because this is the first thing that she does, and then she does not really stop. She does. I mean, freaking The Phantom Menace comes out in what, 99? So 6 years later, she's Queen Amidala. 5 years. Thank you.
She's 18, 17, 18. Yeah.
So like but you know what I mean? Like it's she started acting with this and she kept going, but I don't think she ever really gets put into this kind of situation ever again. You know what I mean? Like her parents or somebody, if not her herself, was protecting her from the start and made sure that whatever happened in this movie wasn't going to lead to her being taken advantage later on, or having her psyche like so warped that she goes crazy and falls into drugs and goes the way of the sad story of child actor,
Right.
And somebody's looking out for it. Oh, here it is. Hold on.
I mean, we don't have to keep beating this topic to death, but
it's okay.
I was wondering, are we good for a break, I feel, or
yes, actually we are perfectly timed for a break.
Nice.
So yeah, let's go ahead and take a break.
2 kitties that are getting a little feisty. I think I think it's dinner time.
Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and take a break, and we'll be back in about 5 to 10 minutes.
This cat will eat anything she can get her hands on. Like, Case was making a salad today, and it had some chicken tenders. Just not like chicken nuggets, like actual just chicken tenders.
The chicken strips.
What?
The chicken strips.
Yeah, and she was like cutting them up, and then she looked down, and Luna was on a beeline with a chicken tender in her mouth. It was just booking it. And so then all of a sudden I'm sitting on the living room couch, right? I'm on the couch and I just see Case is like, "Hey, you bully!" And then all of a sudden, like, the kitchen's here, and I just see Case just disappear, just completely gone. And then she goes and stands up and she's holding Luna. And then I was like, "What?" And she's like, she took my chicken. And then she like showed me the chicken. And all of a sudden you see Luna go smack and just smacks the chicken.
She's like, "What chicken?" There's no chicken here.
She's like getting rid of the evidence.
Welcome back to Good Flickas, home of the Good Flickas. We are talking about Leon the Professional, and we are back right now, but we're going to be losing one of our members soon because of justifiable reasons, and that's all we'll say.
contribute to tonight's discussion too. What a shame.
You've chimed in. I don't know what you're saying. Yeah.
I talk about Home Alone.
Yeah.
This is like crossover that she wants to make.
The crossover event we've all been clamoring for since 1995. Yeah, Jen, did you want to like try and roll for a little bit or head out now? I want to leave that up to you, but I'm not trying to kick you out of here.
No, I should go. So, final thoughts. Yep. So Home Alone and Matilda. They should make a movie. It'll be great. I'm sorry. I just don't like this one. It's not my cup of tea. Certainly not my cup of coffee. And I'm ready to move on from it.
Sweet.
Who wins it? And I know I didn't really talk. We talked about this guy a little bit, but it was between because Natalie Portman, she for sure did an amazing job. In fact, I think this is like some of her better acting that I've seen than like when she is older. No disrespect. She nailed this, but I have to give it to whoever played Stan, because he seriously just was creepy, and I felt like he wasn't even acting. Like he did that well of a job. So he wins. Did you have something to say?
I was just gonna add on to it. It's Gary Oldman is the actor, but he's very good at playing a villain.
Yeah, like he did such a good job, and he won it for me. Yeah.
Very nice. Well, and thank you, Jen, for joining us. I believe next week is your pick. Do you have one ready for us?
I do. Do you want me to announce it now, or you want?
Yeah.
Okay. So
you want to know
the movie that we're gonna switch up the pace here just a bit, and it's on Netflix. And I know I'm forgetting some of the words, but you guys will know it's the George Foreman movie.
I'm not familiar with the George Foreman movie.
like the grill? Is this like the electric grill?
I don't know. See, I don't know. Like apparently he was like a athlete.
He's a boxer.
And then something. Oh, it was a boxer. Okay. So and then he had to. Foreman. Yeah, that one. I knew I was forgetting words, but I've heard really good things about it. I've never seen it myself, so we'll leave it at that, because I don't want to start talking about why I picked the movie, because it's not my turn.
What's it called?
Big George Foreman. This came out 2023. Is this the one you're talking about? I'm looking at it on IMDb.
Yeah, I think it just came out.
It's not.
It was in theaters though, right?
April 28th, 2023 is its release date.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I didn't realize it was 2023.
April 28th, 2023 in the United States. Yeah, I'm just IMDb is not showing it as on Netflix is the interesting part.
Well, we've already learned that IMDb
just
out.
Well, confirm in the chat, Jen, that it's on Netflix later.
Yeah, I'm staring at it right now. Big George Foreman, The miraculous story of the once and future heavyweight champion of the world on Netflix. Yeah. Wow, that is a mouthful.
Yeah.
And it does say it was recently added, so it's a brand new to Netflix.
Yeah, like I know it just showed up on Netflix like a week ago, maybe.
Do you know what else is a mouthful, Matt? Is all the food that you can cook on a George Foreman.
Mouth watering.
I want to see all your steaks next week, guys. Can you cook steak on a George Foreman?
You can. It's just not worth it. It squeezes out all of the juice.
Oh,
yeah. But yeah, and then you take the tray and you pour it back onto the steak.
That's not the point. The point is to drain all of that stuff because it's the grease and the fat. Like
that's the best part.
But you're forgetting the purpose of the foreman. Like it's a combination of grilling the meats on both sides while simultaneously like squeezing out all of the greases and the bad stuff and the fats and things so that you're left with the leanest meat.
Just like George Foreman himself, as a fighter.
You see how he did
it. Yeah.
So we'll get into that next week.
Yeah. This will be an interesting one. I've seen like a couple of trailers for it, but I'm not familiar, especially since it's brand new this year. Man, this has been an exciting time for new movies for me. So thanks, Jen.
Yeah, I keep picking all the new ones. It's weird. Oh well.
Up on Netflix, and you're like, hey, let's watch that.
Yeah, pretty much. It picks me. I don't pick it. Okay. Good night, everybody. Thanks for having
me. Hey, Jen, thanks for joining us. She got off fast.
Yep. Gone.
Don't blame her.
She's like, fuck this shit, I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah, did you guys have anything else that you wanted to talk about? I've got a couple of like just quick little nitpicks of things, but like we've already kind of talked about scenes that they were in. Like one quick little nitpick when she fires the gun after Leon says, I don't think you can do this. She takes the gun, fires it out the window, and she's like,
oh, yeah.
how's that or whatever. That my nitpick isn't like the scene or anything itself. It's the fact that she fires that gun and there's zero recoil. Like this is an 11-year-old that's firing like a 6-shooter. Like this is a revolver.
I didn't even think of that.
There's a revolver and that gun has like nothing.
I didn't even think of that.
It's the only time like I really complained about her firing a gun.
Yeah, there wasn't even any kickback.
Nothing.
Huh.
She's just
You know, I didn't notice that, but what did bother me about that scene was that nobody cared. Like nobody from the street was like, hey, watch it, or like nobody called 911. There was no like police sirens. Like nobody cared that she just shot this gun like in the city, like out of a window. I know.
Cut out windows, man.
I'm walking over here.
Watch where you're firing that thing. I'm walking here. Yeah, like I don't know, like that, like here in Sacramento, you shoot a gun, like there's a shot spotter that's detected. Someone's calling the cops. People are gonna come out their front door. You know, like
Nick's getting phone calls to retrieve video footage.
Yeah. And it's like in New York, it's like just another day.
Just
another 2 p.m. You know,
someone stuck their head out their window and they're like, if you're gonna shoot, can you aim just a little to the left? I hate my neighbor.
Yeah, that's exactly what a New Yorker would say.
Handling their own problem.
Oh my god, that's really funny.
I'm looking. I've got like a lot of stuff that's more packed towards the end of the movie.
Yeah.
I'm trying to save all that though. I mean, here's just a general head scratcher. I don't know if we're gonna come up with an answer, but what's up with the milk?
I don't know. The only rational thing that I could come up with is milk. This is like right around the whole Got Milk campaign becoming a huge.
So that's what I was thinking. Like, was this like the whole got milk? It does the body good. Strong bones, builds calcium, all that stuff.
That's my assumption. But this actually it feeds into like a question I had for you guys. One, I don't know if this movie is kind of like the start of this trope or if it's just one of those things that like feeds into it. But multiple assassin movies after this that I've seen follow this trope of the assassin or an assassin having like this one thing that's like very important to them. For example, if you've seen Shoot 'Em Up with Clive Owen, the whole thing is he's constantly eating carrots throughout this movie because of the claim that eating carrots is good for your eyesight. It's not, by the way. That's a rumor. It's not true. It doesn't work. But like that's his thing throughout the whole thing of like he's got carrots. You've got Leon the professional who's constantly drinking milk. I mean, constantly drinking milk. You've got even Stan, and we mentioned Boondock Saints of like the music. Like there's this weird thing of assassins always having this thing that they do, or that they.
Is the one in Shooter? Oh, I'm trying to think.
Shooter with
Wahlberg.
I don't think so, because he's not an assassin. He's just
an American sniper.
He's a military sniper, yeah. So it's
it's
a different situation on that one. Although I guess like his thing was the removing the firing pin.
Yeah,
so he's the only one who can ever fire his guns.
Yeah, I don't know if Leon the professional, paved the way, or if the way was already paved. But you're right. There is definitely.
It's a weird trend. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's interesting that like assassins have taken on that role.
Huh.
Do this because it's good for you. Like, aren't you killing people? Yeah, but I'm going to live forever.
Here's what I'll say about like the milk thing. For some reason, I associated the milk with the sit-ups. Like somehow like that was Leon's like regimen, was like drink milk, do sit-ups, drink milk, do sit-ups. And I somehow associated the two together of like, oh, this is the formula for how you become a professional hitman. Like just do the, it's like an infomercial of like, just do these 2 easy quick steps and you'll become a hitman. Like,
2 quick tips to being fit, fab, and fabulous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
James Fonda, you were nowhere near the mark.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Something about just drinking milk and doing sit-ups. It was like that's the solution.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with it builds strong bones.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I'll attribute that too with like the whole I think it's Tony is his connection, his guy, where he says like what are you talking about? You're fucking bulletproof. They balance you.
Yeah.
Like that being the thing, like we've seen him get shot. It's not like it's impossible to hit this guy, but he does seem to kind of respond really well to being shot. Doesn't slow him down much.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's able to stitch himself up. So if you're able to do that,
his adrenaline must be crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Got one nitpick it's getting close to the end, but not quite. No one checks the food.
Which food?
That Matilda brings in.
Oh.
She slides it on the desk, and not one person is gonna look at this food.
You're talking about when she walks into the DEA?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Nobody's gonna question an 11-year-old.
No one's. They're just gonna accept that. Oh, cool, food's here.
I've got all kinds of problems about the whole DEA thing.
Oh,
like the building itself. More.
Sorry, Nick.
Me?
Nick.
Oh.
No, do you mean like the DEA building itself, or just like the DEA in general?
Not the build. I see what you're saying there. The scene, and basically when Matilda goes into the building to when Leon brings her out, like everything that happens within that building, there's a massive loads of frustration.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but this building that we're talking about, it's the DOJ, isn't it?
Yes.
The Department of Justice?
Yeah, it is.
I don't think so. I think it's technically a DEA office. Like it's just.
But I think the DEA office is in the Department of Justice.
There's a shot of the front door. It says Department of Justice on top of the front door.
I thought it said DEA above it.
No, so this is we're talking like major federal building here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're just letting fast food slide past the metal detector without even checking. And well, do you just want to kind of go through the Department of Justice and pick apart everything? Go ahead, Nick. This is probably more your area than anything.
It's that, but like just to add to that even more so, it's like there's all of these, there does end up being like a shootout, right? Like a whole action sequence inside this building.
Not really.
Yes, when Leon arrives.
Or like a fight.
Not really. That's my complaint. He walks in, he punches one of the security guards in the face, he knocks the other guy out or he shoots him. And this dude with multiple guns and no face covering other than these tiny sunglasses walks through this building, assaulting officers, killing them, and then walks back out and nobody stops him. There's There's not a billion other freaking police officers or anybody or DEA.
There's no alarm triggered.
Nothing.
What is wrong with this building? It's like the most least secure building I've ever seen.
And it's the Department of Justice.
Yeah. Like what? It's like that's what kills me about it. Like, and nobody cares.
Might as well just been the White House
Nobody cares in New York. Nobody cares if you fire a gun out of a window. Nobody cares if you kill a security guard inside the Department of in the DOJ. Like,
yeah. And then, I mean, like, while we're on it, obviously, I don't think any of us really knew what was going to be going on in the men's room. It's like, I didn't think that they were going to kill Matilda, but I was like, is this going to be a hostage situation? Like, what are we looking at? What I didn't expect was some guy, his backup crew, to come in and just not even acknowledge Matilda, just completely ignored her as if she wasn't even there. And then the one thing about this scene that I did like, though, is you could tell that Stan's guys are even afraid of Stan.
Yeah.
Because when he is waving the gun around and then points sideways to his crew, that guy looked petrified. I was like, oh shit. So basically stands on full tilt right now. Is that's the way that I took it. And it made perfect sense with everything that's to come.
I may have missed it, but why was she in the bathroom with the food?
She followed him in there to kill him.
That's what.
Because it's not food. It's guns and guns and guns. And she was just going to, no plan, just going to walk in and try to assassinate a DEA member.
Okay, that makes total sense now. I was just confused. I'm like, why is she delivering food to
and
a
the only reason why her ass was saved is because she wrote Leon the letter saying,
right,
this is where I'm going.
Yeah, Leon, my love, this is what I'm doing. If I fail, here's $20,000, $5,000 ahead. I'm like, okay, so she comes in sounding like she's prepared to die and carry out this mission, whether she succeeds or not. But if she knows if she does die, that Leon's gonna finish the job for her. So I don't know. It seemed like at this point everyone's going on full tilt. To be honest,
everybody's on edge. The interesting thing for me though is when Leon and Matilda get to the first place after leaving the apartment, when they go to the hotel or whatever. Matilda gets up into the room. She's doing her thing. Leon gets into the room, immediately cases everything, looks behind every door, looks up, looks down. Dude looks at everything. He's looking for anything. And there's no reason for him to do this other than the fact of safety and knowing what's there.
Yep.
The fact that apparently was not a lesson he taught Matilda during all of their practice sessions, all of their training, because she walks into an open bathroom door and never thinks to look behind the door. She never looks in any of the stalls. She gets to the last one that I think has the only closed door.
Exactly.
She doesn't even look under it. She just... So more complaints. I'm telling you, I've got all kinds of complaints throughout this scene.
No, her... Clearly
Can I just add... Can I just add to that? I think this is another instance where you have to remember she's an 11-year-old. She's probably never been in this situation before. So she's now it's like
been in that situation before. Be impressed if she had.
Touche, but but especially for a 12-year-old. She's 12 in this movie. That again, her smoking, edginess, like cussing, like all of that goes out the window in this scene. Like she is truly scared, like as a 12-year-old should be. And I like that they do this with their character of showing that she is really young and that she still has the mindset of a 12-year-old. And not that she's just this like wannabe badass, edgy, whatever kind of a person. And so the bathroom scene like really just shows that a lot. And I think that she just played that scene really well. Yeah.
I was scanning through the movie to try and like just get some insights on things. There's one shot that they did where they shot from like a extremely low angle below both of them. And I thought that was a really interesting choice because I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm going to try and get it on here. It's not going to focus.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, you know what I'm trying to get to. Like what's really interesting with this scene is like the composition of all of it. It's like it's really focused on Gary Oldman's character, and it's such an interesting angle because we're looking up at Matilda, but for him, it doesn't seem like it's quite that angle. But God, it's such an intense moment, and like because it's right where they cut between like this angle, I think, and like him kind of like over the shoulder, like his hand kind of like touching her face, touching her shoulder, kind of like this. It's uncomfortable. It's really awkward, and it adds to the whole intensity of this situation of like, is he about to shoot her right now? And I think he would have had nobody walked in that door. And God, it's just I think she was ready to die. But what's really interesting to me in that moment is while he can't maintain eye contact with her while he's threatening her and being all freaky like he is, she's tearing up, she's snotty, but she's eye contact the whole time. She is locked and gazed on him like, if you're gonna kill me, you're gonna look me in the fucking eyes and do it.
Yeah.
And God, he says that one line about like it brings me no joy to kill somebody who doesn't appreciate life. So
that's a madman.
It's so fucked up. He's like, do you want to die? Do you value your life? Yes, I do. Good. It's going to make it so worth it to kill you. Fucking psychopath.
The other thing is on the scene, you can tell how much of the drop Stan's had on Matilda, because he knew her so well that he took time to be so far away from her, right? From the behind the door to where she's at the very end. And then actually took time to wash his hands, you could easily pull out a gun and just pull the trigger pretty quickly, but he knew that she wasn't going to. Like that's how much of the drop that he had on her. And I don't even think that she probably had no idea what she was getting into at all.
She froze for sure.
Yeah.
God, and she's holding those freaking, like, she's holding the pizza. She's holding all this food. It's like, what was your plan to get to these guns?
Like fumbling around with all,
Just cut to Modern Family. What's the plan, Phil? Like, seriously, what are you doing?
I think that was all I had for that segment. The rest I have seen head scratch. Yeah, seeing head scratch or nitpicks, but they're all on the back end of the movie.
Well, I mean, we had mentioned earlier, like the middle of the film just doesn't have a whole lot going on.
It doesn't.
So, like, it's hard to like think of stuff in like the second act.
Yeah.
Really, the good stuff's in the first and third. So
that's where the good shootouts are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, brings me to my title, Knocking on Death's Door.
Knock, knock, knocking on death's door.
Okay.
Sorry, I had to.
Yeah, you're good. I don't want to jump too far into the scene, but like I really loved how it all played out.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, it was. I mean, She comes back, instantly grabbed, blindsided, did not see that one coming, or like she didn't see that coming at all. And then you get like the guy, you could see that, okay, these guys are, this isn't their first rodeo. They're asking the right questions. Does he know that you're coming back? Is he alone? Is he expecting you? Do you have code knocks? I mean, everything that you need to know to basically try to be in control of a situation. But right off the bat, she sets him up for failure. Where she's like, yeah, we have a code, but gives them the wrong code.
Yep.
I think it was like knock knock.
Is 212.
212, right? 212. But she does 321.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, smart girl. And then the way that he's taken these guys out, oh man, thank you for making the sit-ups pay off. You know, it's like, this is why he trains. Okay, I get it. So he can hang from door jams and whatnot. But yeah, just the way he's picking them off left and right, I'm like, damn, this guy's good.
Is it when he's up on the ceiling? Is that what you're talking about? He like Spider-Man's it, you know? Kinda? Yeah. Okay.
I mean, yeah, he lets one person come in, and then he peeks around the apartment, sees no one, tells his buddy to come in. It's like he's 5 steps ahead of these guys at every time. He's like, all right, you're going to have more people clear in. I'm going to drop behind all of you guys, and that's it. Game over for you. Bring in the next crew. And what I even love is when they're like, you know, we're at the, I think they said like we're at the final mark, and Stan's character says, be careful. And then they all get wiped out, and he's like, I told you. It's like, like, dude, that's your men. But okay. Go ahead, Matt.
Saying it all, man. I loved how brilliant Leon was throughout all of this. Like you said, it all starts with her giving them the wrong code, but it was that moment where they walk through the door and you see his hand come down and close it. That I was like, it's fucking weird. Like, where the hell? Like, where could he be? And I kind of left it. I left it alone. Mm-hmm. Let the scene play out, and then you get the payoff eventually of seeing like, oh, he's fucking up in the damn pipes, and coming down. Like, okay, yes, that makes perfect sense. And then you get the epic moment of him dropping and firing from upside down, and then curling himself back up. Like, that all is brilliant. But then you get to the point where he even gets outside of the apartment. He threatens them, takes the guy hostage, gets Matilda back, gets back inside the room, and just by firing random shots and setting off the water sprinklers, it disorients them to where all they can see is a freaking shadow, and they fire and kill their own guy.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they've put enough holes in the door that he's firing through it and shooting them still. Like, it's brilliant how he plays it all out, and you can see that it's like, it's not necessarily predetermined. He hasn't figured it all out beforehand. It's okay, this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do. Like, he is so good at what he does.
And the sad part about this, though, is a lot of the deaths that occur are just innocent and really don't they it's like you're after the DEA guys, but these aren't really the DEA guys at this point. These are like actual law enforcement, and it's kind of tough to where it's like, well, shit, there go the boys in blue that are going down, and all because they think that they're involved. Well, I actually at this point he's already committed all the murders and in the Department of Justice building. So kind of brought it on himself. But then again, this is all Matilda's fault. But anyway, it's just sad because really the blame gets pointed to Matilda. And a lot of cops go down when they shouldn't have to go down.
Well, we blame.
But he's doing it in such a brilliant way. He's just smarter than all of them combined.
Well, we blame Matilda, but how much of it is Stan's fault sending them all in instead of going himself?
That too, exactly.
So my favorite part about this scene, and it's just after this. I thought was really clever is Leon takes one of the outfits from one of the deck guys.
Yeah.
and like he has I guess it was a gas mask. Was it a gas mask?
Yeah,
probably a respirator.
Respirator. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he comes out of that apartment dressed just like the other guys, and the other guys are like, "Oh yeah, you're good. Come on. Like they're all helping him, and I'm like, "Yes, Leon, you get there." And like he goes all the way down the steps, and then the guy like he goes down these stairs, and there's just like tens and tens and tens of dudes. But what's great is that like as when he gets to the bottom guys are like, try to treat him for like medical, and he takes off the mask, and the guys are like they don't recognize him. Like they don't even know who they were supposed to be going after.
No, yes. No one knows what he looks like.
Yeah, nobody knows what he looks like. So I'm like, what the fuck are you guys even doing then? And it's just great because they're like treating him, and he like Leon's like he's like in the clear. And then he does put the mask back on, I think, at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Does he then go back up, or does he leave?
No, that's when he tries to escape more. Yeah,
he does escape more. Yeah, I just thought that section of him, like he really was 5 steps ahead of them the whole time.
I could not believe the amount of law enforcement that they had in the stairwell. I'm like, what do you guys even? What's your plan of action?
Yeah. You all can't even fit in the apartment.
Exactly. It's like, what is your purpose of this? Like, what are you doing right now? And they all have their guns, and they're just standing like,
yeah.
What are you going to shoot each other?
Like it's funny. Honestly, it's comical.
It's comical with the amount. Yeah. I mean, he did say bring everyone, but everyone.
Yeah.
What was even great is you got Stan on the bottom. He's like giving like the audio. He's like 200 guys, and you can't even find a guy and a girl. Like, did you even find the girl? He's just freaking out. And you see how many cops are up there. Like, yeah, really, guys, how are you butchering this?
Yeah.
Need to go back to.
It's like none of them were showing a picture of like his face before they walked in. It's like
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
What's interesting too is Leon might have been able to escape had he not gone further down those steps. So
because he would have avoided Stan.
He would have avoided Stan.
Yeah.
But he chose to go down further.
Yep.
And I think he was looking for Stan. This
leads me to, I'm actually like torn between head scratcher versus nitpick. But it's definitely the biggest one in the movie for me. We've seen how good Leon is, right? They've laid out a very solid case that this guy is smarter than everybody, skilled at being a hitman, and knows what he's doing.
What you're gonna say?
Huh?
I said I think I know what you're gonna say.
You probably do. You are in a empty hallway with you and one other guy, and you're going to tell me with the skills that you have, you don't know that he's behind you? I think you can't hear his footsteps. You can't feel his presence. Come on. Leon
that's what I was thinking, but
Leon would know with his skill set that you've given me throughout this movie, he would pick him up in 2 seconds. It's just, unless, and I keep thinking, I was like, did he want to be caught? Like, I don't know. I think it'll be a good discussion though.
I think he wanted to be caught, and I think he knew he was there. I think the reason he chose to go further down was because he was looking for Stan.
Okay.
He wanted to find Stan. When he gets down there, we already established when he gets into a new place, he's looking around corners. He's checking behind things.
Right.
Doesn't look. He doesn't glance to his left. He doesn't glance to his right. He keeps walking straight. I think he knows he's there, and he's trying to draw him out by, acting oblivious.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, he's also dying of blood loss, but I think he knew, and I think it was planned. I think he knew he was going to die, and Matilda knew. She's like, "You're just saying this to make me feel better." He's like, "No, it's okay. I can do this." Like, I think he knew, And when he survived that first blast, he was like, okay, I've got to get to Stan. I've got to get this guy. Otherwise, she will have no rest.
I had a feeling that was it. And I was like, and the whole grenade thing, I was like, was that like a backup? And I was like, no, I think this was the actual original plan.
Go
ahead, Nick.
Well, what I thought you were gonna say was like odd, was the grenade thing. Like how did he pull that pin? Like, because when you pull a grenade pin, do you guys know like how many seconds it is until the grenade, is it 5?
Approximately 5 seconds.
It's 5. Okay, so he had to have pulled that pin like while Stan was, right next to him.
Or when he was shot.
Like, what?
When he was like shot and he's going on the way down and he's falling.
Well, I'm trying to remember like how many seconds Stan is above him. Like, it had to have been more than 5.
Yeah, it was pretty long because like he's shaking. This is from. I think it is longer than 5.
And there was like a little bit of a short speech. Like there was some. It was more than 5 seconds. So but like Stan above him
and delivery.
So it's Stan like right over him, like I don't know, like a foot away. How did we not hear the grenade like pin pull, or how does Stan not hear the pin pull? I mean, like because usually those are. I feel like those are loud in general, and I mean the grenade's right in front of him.
Only the grenade pin is not that.
And like, was that his only option at that point to kill him? Like there was like no quick draw of a gun or nothing. Like that was his only option, was to commit suicide, and if that means that Stan dies, I don't know. Yeah, I'll say it was very clever, and I was not expecting it. But as good of a hitman as he is, was that his only option?
I don't think
that's
it
just
was.
My question.
He was his whole goal was to protect Matilda, and I think this is how he saw was the only way it ends. He has to take out Stan, and I don't think he saw a way out. He's surrounded by this many people, like this many cops. He's been shot at least twice. He's not making it out of there.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you guarantee a guy dies? Blow him the fuck up with a dozen grenades.
Yeah, because otherwise Stan would just say, "Hey, 25 men, all come down here. I got him." Like he's not escaping that. Like Leon's not escaping that.
Well, I mean, even here's the thing. Leon shoots the guy, right? If by any means it's not an instant kill, that implies that he could be rescued. He could be saved,
Yeah.
You blow a guy up, there's no chance they're bringing him back.
No.
Wait, did Leon shoot Stan?
No, I'm saying he did. Unless it's an insta kill.
Yeah.
There's always the chance that, well, we didn't see him die on screen.
Yeah.
Blow him the fuck up and leave, just now it's not up for debate. It's not up for interpretation.
Yeah.
What bravery.
My last thing about the police. Matilda leaves. She's free. She's got the plant. She's on the move. No one's questioning this girl. This girl looks like she just came out of the damn building. Like, how is no one? There are cops all like, she runs into an officer and then she's like, "What are you doing here?" I was like, what the fuck? How is no police doing their job in this movie?
It's like the police don't even know what these two people look like ever.
It's unbelievable.
Like nobody has shown them a picture of what the girl and the guy look like.
It's like, what do they think? This girl's just walking around carrying a plant, like in a blanket. Like she's got smoke all over her face. I'm like, how are you not curious about this? Go ahead, Matt.
I'll say this for the outside police force, with the public being out there, with them trying to control the streets and everything, and explosions going off. Absolutely. I would say within chaos and all of that, it's likely for them to just kind of overlook a girl who's now walking on the street when their goal is get out of here. What the fuck are you doing? You gotta get out. Like, I can see that being their main concern, because I'm sure she's not the only civilian that's running through this area. So these guys are trying to maintain chaos. Plus, these are also the actual cops. It's the DEA, and
I think that's a stretch, but I can see where you're going with it.
You said it yourself. Like, none of these guys really know what they look like. They don't know what they look like. These are just street cops that are told to control the streets. That's what they're going to do. I think because the DEA, the people inside, are most likely the ones that would have gotten any kind of briefing. This is Leon. This is Matilda.
Mm.
The guys outside wouldn't have, because they just got called because they needed to call in the cavalry. It's easy to slip by when nobody knows they're looking for you.
Well, and I'll say too, just as someone who works for a police department, like, I don't know if this is like an official thing in training or anything, but anytime there is a situation, one of the biggest priorities for officers is to get civilians out of the way. Like, it's a public safety thing. And they have to use their best judgment to look for people that are a threat versus people that are not a threat. And if you're not a threat, like, priorities to get them out of the way. So what officer is going to see this little girl and think that she's a threat? They're going to want to get her out of the way, you know? So
Jay.
Yeah. Otherwise, if they were showing pictures of what they looked like, yeah, different story.
Yeah. Agent J would think she's suspicious. Little girl walking around with a plant in the middle of a crime scene. She up to something.
She's just escaping whatever horror she left, you know? Like,
I'm going with Men in Black just because you don't seem to be catching the reference of how Agent J shoots a little girl in the training simulation because she's carrying around quantum physics books.
Oh, no. I don't
this
know.
guy looks like he's working out.
Yeah. How would I feel if I'm working out at the gym? Some dude comes in and caps me in the ass.
I haven't seen Men in Black in a very long time.
Look at those books, Zed. Those are way too advanced for a girl her age.
Yeah.
She up to, you ask me, she up to something.
She
I could lay off my back about it.
That is funny.
Watch Men in Black. It's a fun one. I don't really have anything left other than like quotes and things. So if you guys have scenes and stuff you really want to get into.
I got one quote.
I'm doing no notes, by the way, from now on.
Oh.
No notes.
Okay.
No notes.
He's
no quotes from you. Awesome. I think I've got 3 or 4 quotes.
Oh, damn. I didn't.
They're little things.
Not many quotes in this movie.
They're little things. It's not anything that's too crazy.
Oh, you know what? So it's not a quote. It's not a scene. It's a moment that I will say that I was like, holy shit, Natalie Portman, where did you even go to do that? Like, and it's when she is, man, she's got Leon on her right and she's holding the gun. And then she raises the gun, but she like turns her head. Do you know what moment I'm talking about?
Not even slightly.
Oh my God.
It visually seems familiar. Is this when they're in the apartment?
Yes, they're in the apartment, and I think she points it at somebody.
Well, who would she point it at? There's like nobody in the apartment.
Damn it. Anyway, just the skill that she had to pull off that acting, it's something that caught my attention.
Oh wait, they had like Target paper, I think.
I don't know, was that it?
Was it Target paper that she was shooting at? Fuck, I can't remember. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I do not recall.
Yeah. Anyway, if you watch it again, just look out for that moment because it is. I don't even know how she did it.
Nah, she was pretty great. So one quote that's not really a quote that I have is, okay. This is one of those things like I want to know the count of how many times they say okay in this movie, just like I want to know how many times they say fuck in most like other movies.
Most Martin Scorsese movies.
Yeah. Oh, how many F-bombs were dropped in that one? How many okays were dropped in?
Yeah, that was 300 plus.
Yeah.
Well, there's 182 in Scarface.
I'm glad we have these numbers on hand.
Well, because that's where Blink-182 got their name from.
Nice.
You didn't know that?
No, I'm not. I was never a huge Blink-182.
I actually did not know that. That's such a cool fact.
Yeah.
They say okay a lot to the point where he even screams at her, "Stop saying okay.
Stop saying okay, okay."
Okay.
I love her reaction. It's like that moment of silence. Okay.
Yeah.
And then they just move on. Like, all right, we're good. And then there's that moment later on where she brings back the okays,
and
he doesn't say anything about it. And it's like
that scene was filmed before.
Probably.
Yeah. I wrote down the only quote I wrote down. It's when you start to become really afraid of death that you learn to appreciate life.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I was like, ooh.
That's right before he drops the really twisted line about
Stansfield coming in with some serious mental fuck you right now.
Yeah, he did.
I feel like I've heard this quote in other movies though. Like not verbatim, but like the concept is there.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's likely.
It's basically what the more you fear, the more you appreciate.
Yeah.
I've got a Stan quote as well. And it's in the finale. Death is whimsical today.
Oh yeah.
That just his delivery of it and the whole whimsical.
And then he flips the gun in 50 million ways. You're like, who's gonna die?
It's freaking insane. Another quote, this is just great. Assassin advice, always dress down, never brighter than the floor. As like with all of the assassin movies that I've seen where they this is when they're doing the paintball target practice. I like that. I love movies when it's like all about like, yes, I'm an assassin and here's this one thing, but they never drop this little nugget of like why you wear certain clothes or why you wear certain colors. It's like, that makes perfect sense. So just like that is a little bit of assassin information. Another one from, I'll shut up.
I know. No, sorry, fine. I just to say that like it's unfortunate for the yellow tracksuit politician guy that got shot with the fake bullet. His was way brighter than the ground.
Yeah, well, further feed his point, right?
Yeah,
you're an easy target. They'll see you. Because I did like that he calls out with the whole scope thing too. Is like, nope, not until the last second. Because it reflects. They'll see you. Done. Yeah. The moment where Leon is trying to kind of pick up Matilda's spirits a little bit, and she's talking about how her mom was a pig, and he says, "Don't talk like that about pigs. They're usually much nicer than people." I like the quote. It leads to a really fun scene of him breaking out the little oven mitt pig and oinking around and doing all that kind of stuff. But what I thought was really interesting about this line was that it comes back, and Tony admits that he's the one that told that to Leon in the first place, which I think is very interesting considering this is a guy who works for the mob and has worked with the DEA/police at times. Makes me question the whole pigs thing, you know? So just thought that was an interesting line, especially since its origins come from Tony. My last quote, which I think we've already said it, is this is from Matilda. Like, I don't remember what Gary Oldman's line was after that. It's like, you don't need to say anything, but he got the last word of like, oh shit or something. And then what a finale. What a great way to just round it out for Matilda and being like, hey, she says, fuck you. Just great. But that's it for my quotes. Got nothing else. So, final thoughts on who won the movie?
Yeah.
Or should I just say who won the movie? Because I don't think we have much final thoughts left. We've gone through most of them. Any volunteers?
I'll go.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. I think we did a good job just unpacking this one. A lot brought out some of the flaws and some of the highlights of it. Who won? Well, I'm gonna give my honorable mention. Will go to. Boy, who's it gonna go to? I think it'll go to both Leon and Gary Oldman. But my winner of the movie is definitely going to be Natalie Portman. She just phenomenal performance in a completely not child movie at all. I mean, child actors of the 90s, they're doing things like Mighty Ducks and Heavyweights and and all these type of movies. And Natalie Portman's like, yeah, I'll do Leon the Professional. So great for her. And she really just, I think she wins it for me because she was the one that just kept my attention and what really saved the movie, just to see her performance on screen. So that's gonna be it for me.
I agree. I think Natalie Portman wins the movie for me as well. Kind of like what I said at the beginning, just her acting is phenomenal.
Dumb and dumb.
Yeah, she was very entertaining. Like she never felt like cheesy or yeah, it was good quality acting all around. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. I was going to go the other way on this one, but I'm just going to flip flop a little. I want to give shout out and like honorable mention to the stunt team, because the fight sequences are really good. They're really well laid out, really well planned out. And they're fun, like the action is fun. I enjoy the scenes, and I wish I had more. So absolutely huge shout out to those guys. Honorable mention.
You don't know about Xfinity Mobile. What?
Is that so?
Sorry.
We're in the middle of a chat here and you're watching YouTube videos. Fuck off.
Not watching YouTube videos.
Oh, he's watching
this podcast is brought to you by this podcast is brought to you by Xfinity Mobile.
Don't say that.
No, I was
not paying us.
I was trying to pull up that scene I was talking about on IMDb to see if it was like on pictures, but nothing was popping up.
You're better off just pulling the scene up on IMDb or in Netflix. Yeah,
fuck Xfinity Mobile. You suck. You don't want your money. Just kidding. Suck a dick.
Okay. One, we shouldn't, like shout out things that aren't actually paying us to shout them out. And two, let's not piss off, potential sponsors. I doubt Xfinity is ever going to call us up and be like, hey, we'd really like to, sponsor your show. But we've only got one condition. You got to fire Nick. We saw that one chat that you guys had, and he spoke ill of our mobile account, and we went okay with that.
Yeah, we made it to our 3 hours and 45 minutes of this podcast from Beyond the Professional.
Yeah, just to be disappointed by your jackassery. For who wins the movie, I'm giving it to was it I want to get Jean Reno. Jean Reno. He's French.
Yeah.
Jean.
Oh, okay.
Jean
Reno and Natalie Portman.
Jean.
I don't want to decide that one of them is better than the other because I think that they are playing completely different characters and they emote exactly the way that they should. Natalie Portman is absolutely incredible for an 11-year-old who is just making their debut. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better start. She did absolutely incredible, but Reno as Leon is just incredible. He's likable. He's mysterious. He's intimidating. He's like soft and sweet. Like the guy is able to kind of cover it all without having to do a whole much dialogue wise. And that's pretty impressive. But yeah. Anything else? No. All right. And that's a wrap on Leon the Professional. We will not have to talk about this movie again until I pick it 3 years from now for our rewatch. Just kidding. Yeah,
I bet it'll be number 14 on IMDb for some reason.
It'll just shoot up the ratings. But yeah, that wraps it up for us with Leon the Professional. I hope you enjoyed it. Tune in next week to hear us chat about. I gotta get the name right again. It was George Foreman, but it was Big George Foreman. Yeah. So tune in next week to watch us here on Twitch at GoodFlickas as we discuss Big George Foreman. Check us out on YouTube at GoodFlickas, where you can find our old videos. Next week's video should be up shortly. Shortly as in soon, and that doesn't matter for you when you're watching this, but eventually. But yeah, check us out on social media at YouTube, on YouTube at GoodFlickas, Instagram at good.flickas, here on Twitch at GoodFlickas, and send us an email with any questions, comments, or concerns that you have for us at goodflickas2020@gmail.com. Looking forward to hearing from you guys. Tell your friends about us, find us, like us, share us, tell us we suck even. I don't care. If you are watching just to tell us how much we suck, but you come back every week, I'm fine with that.
I'm okay with it.
Okay with that.
Just like Xfinity Mobile,
Jesus.
Because GoodFlickas we can take your critiques.
Yes.
But can Xfinity Mobile take my critiques?
Oh my gosh.
Find out next time when I'm not here. Because I've been fired.
Tune in next time to see if Nick has a service.
What's really funny is I have Xfinity Mobile on my phone.
They're gonna cancel your services. They're just
blocking out.
If it ever goes away, I know why.
They're just gonna black out your block.
Like, man, I haven't got any phone calls this past month. That's weird.
Man, it was my birthday and nobody called. Nobody even sent me a text.
Oh man,
yes, that does it for Leon the Professional. Check us out next week and check us out on YouTube. Brian, go ahead and close us out, my man.
All right, guys. No, this was a fun one. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we liked kind of talking about it and picking it apart a little bit. Let's see. Get out there, do your sit-ups, drink your milk, water your plants. We'll see you next week.
Wait, we never talked about the actual ending.
Oh, too late.
Damn it. Oh, whatever. She buries the plant. Or I'm sorry, not bury. She plants. She.
You know what? We never really talked about the plant, to be honest.
No Freudian slip there. She plants the plant.
Yeah, we never really even talked about the plant. That's funny,
dude. I'll just say
I feared for that plant.
Oh yeah, when he goes out the window, like crosses the window to get to it. Yeah,
I was like, please don't kill the plant. He loves this plant. He's like wiping it down.
You got to get the dust off.
I had this really stupid idea earlier that I was like, I want to see an epic rap battle between Leon's plant and Dean's blender.
Whose?
From Enemy of the State.
Oh,
blender.
Oh, yes.
Like they each loved those things so much. I'm like, man, I want to see like the plant and the blender turn into characters and have a rap battle. Like I don't like it's so stupid, but like I would love to see it in action.
We all know that the blender wins.
Like it takes the plant, like slowly puts it in itself.
It makes really good juice.
Yeah.